But hey, you already know how we rocking.
Yes, sir.
It's another special episode of Bad for the Community. It's Young Rob on the mic, St. Yves to the right.
I'm back.
Nate Nix in the room.
Hello, how you doing?
And we got a very special guest, a very talented DJ from the city. We got Brandi Chanel with us.
Hi guys.
And we make some noise for Brandi. Yep, drop the bombs.
How you doing?
Drop the bombs.
How are ya?
We're doing great. We're doing great. It's Sunday. I don't got too much energy after yesterday.
I know y'all was lit
But
yesterday.
this is the perfect guest. This is the perfect guest host for this week.
Absolutely.
It makes a lot of sense, you know, because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but now we can really get into it. You know,
long overdue. But
we had a
doing
KOBK Summer Kickoff on yesterday, and that was dope. Everything that could have went wrong didn't go wrong. Luckily enough, like
Very true.
it's crazy. We pulled up. There was
Even before that, you called me talking about, yo, where do I put the patties? I'm sitting in my car like, I don't know.
like we didn't know if we wanted to stick with the park that we were at, cause what's it called? We got there and now we got it. We heard there's a fire
So, yeah,
the firemen versus police basketball
Fire
Oh
game.
my God,
Police
hell no.
department.
That was it?
We're
Oh,
taking
And
up
we
the court.
doing
Mind
an
you-
event with no permits.
Exactly.
We're
Right,
grilling. We're
right.
selling food. No, we're not supposed to be selling
Right.
merch. Blah blah blah.
Right. And you gotta have a permit
Are we allowed to
to
say
even...
that on camera?
I mean, you can, like, not gonna rush you
Look.
now.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about for future events. It's
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Next
saying.
They
time.
gonna
Yeah.
double check
We
now.
gotta
Yeah,
correct
That's what
that.
these young niggas
Let's
doing.
We have to... Oh, we gotta
But
get
honestly,
closer.
we're gonna do bigger and better things. So I think moving forward, we're gonna have to get the permit.
Yeah,
No
for sure.
bullshit.
Like we gotta
We
go
definitely
10
gonna do that.
times bigger. That was a super dope event. I appreciate
Start-
everybody
start
that
planning in advance.
slid through. That was
2
good
months.
vibes. You know, even people coming into me and just really telling me like, yo, y'all really building a community. Like this is real love. And there's nothing like, you know, you see a lot of love on, you know, the internet and everything, and that's dope too. But there's
Fake
nothing like
love.
some real life interactions
Yeah.
and engagement. And even
Especially
though,
seeing like kids pop out too. The little white kids is just
oh
like,
yeah,
wow.
we
Oh,
had
yeah.
little white kids
'Cause
popping
they
out.
in the
They
neighborhood
wiped
right
the
there.
merch away,
You
yo.
know?
Like
Fuck that shit.
they texting their mom like, "Mom, can you send
I
me
was about to say, I didn't see
$25?"
the interaction happen. Did they go up to their parents and be like, yo,
No,
can
they
I get
texting their
$25?
parents.
And
They screenshot
None
my
of the kids had
Venmo.
like cash.
No, they took a picture of my Venmo and they sent it to their mom. Like, "Mom, can you send?"
crazy.
I gotta
Like,
get QR codes. You gotta get your
Yeah, we
QR
had 'em.
codes and post
We
them.
just didn't
up.
have Venmo though.
Oh.
That's what that was the problem.
Venmo got
Venmo.
QR codes too.
Yo, what's the chances if I check
Venmo is a white
the
version
mom's
of
name
Cash
that her
App.
name is Karen?
What are the chances?
What are the chances?
I feel like Karen's not that common of
Yeah,
a
I
white
don't think
person's
it's
name.
common anymore.
Not like Kimberly.
Beth.
Beth.
Beth
I was gonna
Yes.
say Elizabeth, no cap.
Elizabeth, right?
But yeah,
Elizabeth.
Beth is a good one.
F comes from Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Never thought about that.
Some people's name Bethany. I will say yeah. Some people's
Yeah,
names
yeah,
are like
usually
Beth.
I
about
thought
Bethany.
I thought Beth came from Elizabeth.
Hmm.
Because some
Well,
people are like
Elizabethany.
don't call me Liz, call me Beth.
Facts,
Yeah.
right?
But nah, shout out to those white kids, man. We gonna get them tapped
Well,
in.
shout out to everybody.
Oh no, for sure. But I'm saying,
Facts, right? You shout out the white
we
kids
gotta,
before you shout out all the niggas.
indoctrinate them. We gotta indoctrinate them. You feel me?
No Negro shout outs
Everybody
yet.
that
Still waiting on
came.
those.
But we even had a.
They
I'm
sound cool, right?
gonna say DJ Rob was playing the music, but
Mhm.
DJ
Ease is
Rob.
gonna try to discredit me and say
I'm not discrediting you. It's just like, yo, let's get the right type. This is a DJ right here.
this is definitely a
You feel me?
DJ for sure.
Thank you.
You
Why can't I
was
just be a
great
DJ at
ops.
level 1?
Nah,
She like level
I don't know,
70
bro.
something, but you
You
know
didn't
what?
have-
I
you
can't
didn't
be
even have
level 1
nothing to-
DJ.
You know what I mean? You didn't even have nothing to spin with. You just pressing play, pressing next.
But yo, a DJ's
that's
curating
like the hardest
vibes.
kind of. That's like the hardest type though. Like
You feel? I had to do like hard skips. I didn't have the crossfade transition. I just had to pick my
You
right
don't
moments
got,
and
you don't got
I
no
wouldn't
tools.
consider
It's
it a
just
DJ.
straight.
I'm saying.
Not this time. Maybe next time when you get better.
all right, but what
Like as you continue to get the
What goes
experience.
into
I asked Nate
What?
what my Ox game was like. He said 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
That's really solid for the first time. I think I was doing my thing.
You played a lot of Drake, though.
Facts.
I didn't play that much Drake.
Played a lot of Drake and a lot.
Drake.
Nah, a lot of
Drake
Drake.
is a
A
fail
lot of
safe.
Uzi.
Drake is a fail safe. Listen, if you can't find shit to play,
And I didn't
You
even
play
play
Drake.
like
you play Drake.
I played good Drake. I played Recognize, and that's not Drake.
A
That's
lot of
Party.
Drake.
I did maybe like a future Drake, but it's like
A lot of
I
Uzi.
think,
Headlines,
I think
you
the
play
only
Headlines.
That
Drake
also is a credit to
song,
Drake, though.
the only Drake song I played that was his song was In Too Deep, and people's vibing to that.
Yeah,
A lot of Uzi, a lot of Chief Keef.
No, there's a lot of
not mad
Atlanta,
at the Chief
period,
Keef.
bro.
I'm not mad at Chief
Like
Keef.
Atlanta dominates the sound.
mad.
Like
Yeah.
how much Atlanta is in your playlist?
the shit that I like, especially in my 2000s like playlist, like hip hop, is all ATL. It's
See, you
all,
could really go back all the way to 2000.
Yeah, like it's all down
Before
south.
we even get to the Cardi, the Uzi, the Thugs, the Gunners.
East
you
Coast
got-
rap is big on the 2010s and 2020s. I think like they dominate those categories, but 2000s like that was definitely like south, like the south.
You talking about like Jeezy,
yeah,
T.I.?
yeah, all
It's
that,
that bad
all that.
music.
What you know about
bad
that?
music.
That bad music.
The bad
bro.
music, a lot of
They be
like
busting though.
yeah, like a lot of like Pusha T, like a lot, all of those like rappers that are like from the East, like they dominated in like the 2020s, 2010s.
Pusha T from Maryland,
Virginia.
Virginia, well, he's still East Coast.
DMV.
So I'll give it to you. I really was just an ox because then we went to the Clark event.
You could have played
And
some
he-
Bow Wow. You could have played
some-
some Cassie. Damn.
Bro, I was trying to read the room. Like Pete, I would use like
Who was
certain
outside?
I would use certain
Cookout
test
music.
songs, like I seen some women in the I was like, yo, let me play some of this Meg real quick.
You wasn't looking though. Your head
That
was down.
sound- So
you have
That's
to
cap.
look- you
I
have
was,
to
I was
look at the
watching
text
because they were
women.
dancing.
Now you got to balance it because you got some of the niggas who are mad.
So let
Like
me ask
I ain't
you,
trying to dance to
Brandi.
no Megan. I ain't trying to rap to no
Yes.
bad bitch.
Is
this,
it about
like,
reading the room? Or is it about controlling the room and setting the vibe?
So
a good
there's
question.
different points in the night where you have to know what to do, and that's like it's like a big DJ skill, like, and it's so hard. Like I'm just now like finding out my way of doing it,
Mhm.
but I think like you have to know where your pocket is, like where your niche is. Like my niche is R&B in 2000s,
I was
and
gonna
I
say,
know
yeah,
and I know
you definitely
people
got
are
that
going
bag.
to hit like. I know people are going to like it. I also know that the club hits are something that people need. Like I can't play R&B all night. I can. There's events where I can. But if somebody's like, "Yo, B, turn me up real quick," there's a whole playlist where I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what? Just bangers back to back to
Multiple
back to back to
playlists.
back
I
to back."
told
So
you.
then-
That's the
You know,
wave.
we did.
So then,
But it's also by year too. So and then when you're looking at the room, you're thinking like, okay, it's a cookout. This is the vibes. People, you have to think, did people eat yet? Are people even gonna dance at this time?
Mhm.
Nobody ate yet. People still talking. They're talking to the vendors. All right, so I'm gonna play chill shit. I'm gonna do my thing, but I'm gonna do chill shit.
This is
Oh shit, niggas sitting down. All right, where we sitting down? Look like people they got a drink now. Maybe
Yeah.
they vibing. Maybe I play something a little bit upbeat. Oh shit, now everybody's looking to dance. Now I can
It's
get into
time.
my bag.
so then how
You feel
often
me?
do you find yourself playing something you don't even like, but you know how
the time.
much people like it?
All the
that's
time.
probably the main job.
All the time. Like
Yeah.
all the time. Like me and my cousin Mez, shout out to Mez Wave. But yeah, me and my cousin Mez, like we say this all the time. It's like we play a lot of stuff that we do not listen to. Like we listen to it because people want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like you feel me? Like I'm not listening. I'm not like shit. Let me play Push and P like real quick, like on my
Yeah,
way
but you know
on my
that-
way to work. Like I'm not playing that, but I know
that
that's
song
a
is horrible.
hit. I know that's a hit in the club, and people want to hear that shit. Like
You gonna-
so, I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna make it sound good for you, and I'm gonna play it at the right time. I'm not playing it too early because I play it too early, it's not gonna hit.
Yeah.
You know,
know?
that's kind of how I went into it. Like even like the first kind of hours, like chill. You just getting everybody in because you ain't want to hit them with the haymakers, and then you get into.
That's
Yeah,
your edit bag. You getting your edit bag in the early. Yeah,
I feel like I could get into my real bag because I had to like set a precedent. I can't be chips like or doing something completely different off rip. I got to be like, all right, I could do it. And then later on, I was like, everybody's giving me suggestions. I want to ask you how you do suggestions. Eventually, I was like, fuck this.
don't.
I'm just playing my shit.
we don't.
We don't do
Nah, just
suggestions.
kidding. No, suggestions are dope, especially if it's like good suggestions. Like people come and make like really good suggestions sometimes. Like I was working out in Providence and I worked the club troupe out there in Providence, and somebody suggested a song that I was already playing. Like I was like already had it queued up ready to go, and he was just
Oh,
like,
that makes you even more.
you know, like,
confident
and
to
it's
hit
just
the
like
button.
word,
Yeah.
like that's how you know you got the crowd. But shout out to Providence because y'all love everything. Like I could have played fucking Barney, like, and it was lit.
Shit would've cranked.
Like,
They would've
you
been
feel
like,
me?
fuck yes.
You know, and
Needed
like,
it.
and they're like the nicest people. I probably got the most tips and most compliments like out of my whole career in Providence. But anyway,
Yeah, white kid came up to me. He's like, "Yo, can you play Yeet?"
like, what is that?
You didn't play it though.
Hell no, I ain't
You
play
don't
no
got
fucking
to.
Yeet.
He
You don't
would've
got
turned it
to.
up.
But request
I
you
played
don't
one.
have to.
So
But
you
that's
did.
because
He got a
Sabo
couple-
Sabo
couple
recommended
songs,
it. You feel me?
man.
But
He said a
You got a
Negro
couple
recommended. I don't
songs.
take orders from the white man.
Oh,
From the
the
white,
white kid,
the boy, the white boy.
But not even speak on that. Like how different, because you're in the Providence scene and the Boston. How different are those scenes when you're DJing and doing events?
so I would say like Boston's very specific. Like Boston, like there's a specific crowd in Boston. Like I was just talking about this. Like in Providence, like I could play anything, they'll go anywhere. But I know Providence likes the hits. Like they like that radio. Like, well, this specific crowd, because you know you can go to a different club and it'd be a whole separate like thing where it's just like drill and trap that night. And if you're not playing that, you got to go. You feel me? So it's like at that specific club at that night, I could have played, you know, I played hits that hit well. But I was realizing because when you're DJing, you test shit out, see where we'll go. The Caribbean scene out there that night was not it. Like the West Indian vibes, it was not it that night. You feel me? Whereas if I played that shit in Boston, it would have been a riot. Like you know, like it would have been lit. You feel me? But that didn't hit like that, and that's just you. You know, you're just like learning the crowd. You're just like, okay, cool. Y'all not rocking with that. But what's the name? 8 Ladies by Travis Porter went crazy. Like, you feel me? So it's like you have to like go back
that's
and
an
forth.
interesting one, right?
Yeah, you feel me? But that's what we playing. But that's what you got like 3 drinks in, you lit, and girls are twerking, lit. Everybody's happy, drinking. There's dudes dancing. Everybody's like, I'm literally handing you the vibe, and you take it, and you know, you do your thing.
So has there ever been a time where you had an event and you just read them completely wrong? Where you went into that like, maybe I wasn't the right one for this one.
I don't think it can be like the crowd. Sometimes there's just crowds that don't respond to nothing. Like you could be DJing and like the crowd literally won't respond. Like I remember I was DJing one time and it was just like crickets. But it was songs that you would be like hitting, and I was looking at the other DJs around me and we're like, like this is
what's fuck going on?
Like this is weird. Like this is very weird. Like this is very weird. And we were just like, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't it. Like it just nothing was hitting for this crowd, and that's okay. It was just like a little event. It was nothing crazy, but it was just like, all right, that's okay. Like I got paid. Like I got paid. Like
facts.
you know. And then and then what's really crazy is that even at the end of the event, people like, yo, you're so good. Like you did such a good job. And you're like, damn, bitch, where was you at? Like
I see you on the wall right there.
That be happening though, no bullshit. Sometimes the event, the vibe, the venue, everything.
If you're not comfortable with everybody at the party, you know.
I was gonna ask that. So what would you say is your favorite setting to be in?
I would say like intimate events. So like I don't have a specific venue, but definitely intimate events where I could connect with the people. Like out in Providence, I like to come from behind the DJ board, especially if we're freaking having a good time. Like I like to show my personality and be like, yo, I love this music and I want to vibe with you because you're vibing. This is really fun. So like if I can vibe with you and get from behind it, like if it's that type of environment, you feel me? You know, sometimes you can't, like just like logistics, like the DJs, like booth is
elevated,
yeah, like you feel me. But like events where it's really intimate is my favorite because I can show off a lot. Like I could be myself. Whereas if I'm at like specific corporate events, like I've DJ'd for Mark Anthony's VIP party.
Oh shit! Drop a bomb.
Thank you.
Nah,
I don't want to be that guy, but like,
bomb.
is that? Who is that? He's a singer?
J-Lo.
I was about to say, like, I thought of
Salsa.
J-Lo. I don't know if that's the right person. I was like,
They're not even together anymore.
Yeah, they're not.
You got that song.
That's the father of her kids, though. I don't like to say baby dad. It's crazy. But yeah, so I did it or whatever, and I don't speak Spanish, like, you know.
Oh, so you got the Spanish playlist too.
Literally. Nothing but salsa the whole night. Like I had to do my research and really work for it. Like, you know, and really be like, okay, this is what they're going to ask me. And I didn't know what they were going to ask me, you know, but I had to be prepared. I was just thinking like, if this is a salsa event, what do you want to hear at a salsa event?
Yeah.
So I literally, right, exactly. So I downloaded Mad Salsa music, and I went to a whole nother platform. Remember how we was talking about BPM Supreme? They had BPM Supreme Latino, or Latin or whatever. So I got a whole new subscription because you got to subscribe to it. Whole new subscription, downloaded everything, queued up everything, like had to get everything clean on top of that because I don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and I can't be playing some wild, like, you know, stuff. Like, so
imagine you play like the R. Kelly of like Latin America and you didn't know the vibes.
Mark Anthony?
Yep.
No shit.
Really? I don't know.
I didn't know that when I dropped the bombs.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Pause. I thought you meant like his popularity.
Oh no!
R. Kelly's music. I did not know that about him. R. R. Kelly,
You know,
forcing
you
it
should've
in
known.
But then again, some people don't even care
That's what
about
I'm
the
saying.
R. Kelly
It's
shit.
like the R. Kelly
Which is wild.
music
Which
could
is
be
actually
busting,
wild.
but have you
Yeah,
ever had
nah,
have you ever had to
yeah.
play R. Kelly?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
Would you play
I
it?
think the closest thing that I got that's R. Kelly is an Aaliyah track, but R. Kelly is featured on the track. But I never play it that long to where it gets to the rapping part. But it's Aaliyah, so I gotta, shout out to Aaliyah.
Facts.
Literally
Cassidy
remember crying
song.
when she died.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. What's it called? I don't know. Like, how do you feel about like you being a DJ, but also maybe like pairing with like a band?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I used to do that. Like at the second morning show, we had like a drummer or whatever. And then at what is it called? What was the show that we did? Where mad people rapped. It was like right here in Roxbury, at the lot, but now they got apartments there.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Live
about.
Act.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, facts.
Live
There
Act.
you go.
Like there was a band there, Megazoid or whatever, and just like them vibing over the music that I was playing. I love that. Like I think that's great. I think live music is just
That's
amazing.
another tier.
Yeah, like it's just amazing, and it's
So-
just like music theory and everything. Like it's crazy. It's really
Yeah.
dope.
The people who might not know, what is the morning show?
Facts.
The morning show is basically it's an event that provides the Black community with a space to be themselves. It was started by me and of course Thrill. Shout out to
Yes,
Cam
sir.
Steph. Yeah, and it was just an idea one day that I had, and I was just like, I just want to do something in the morning, and just like wake up and like go vibe out to music and have a good time. And they were like, well, let's do it. And I was like, okay, we could do it. So we did it. And now we have vendors, we have open mic, we have live art coming, which is gonna be so great this year. What else is gonna
Third year running, right? It's gonna be the third year.
Third year live
Wow.
DJ sets.
June 25th. Where at?
25th.
Where we
June
gonna be at?
25th. We're still working on that.
All right, but the announcement gonna come soon.
Yeah,
So
announcement's coming
anybody
on
peeping
soon.
this and you in Boston, make sure you in Mass period. Make sure you pop out to the morning show. There's a lot of
Rhode
events
Island,
going
wherever
on, but
you
that's
at.
one of our favorites. We were talking about that.
Yeah, it's a good event. It's one of the best events of the year every
Yeah,
time.
Nate was
We
a
was talking-
performer. He did
Yup.
amazing. I was listening to questions on the way over here, actually.
Oh,
That's
dope.
wild.
That's
Shout out
dope.
to that song. Shout out to Sonali and them. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
No,
what
I
can we
like that
expect
song.
with this one? What can we expect with this year's morning show?
This year is definitely, we took a lot of feedback from last year. Like doing events and stuff like that, especially being Black in Boston, is hard. So, and people say it's
Facts.
not, but it is if you don't know the right people. Like if you
A
don't.
lot of hoes. I mean, what's it called? Hoops to jump through.
Yeah,
A lot of hoes. There's a lot of hoes.
Like, fill
There's
them
a
up.
lot of hoops to jump through. There's a lot of things that have to get done the right way.
Yeah.
And if you're not in touch, or if you're just not if you're not somebody who does this, it's hard.
Yeah.
So
I found that out yesterday.
yes, right.
Luckily for us, everything went right, but it really could have. First hour
Right.
could have been shut down, and it could have been raps.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the
Trying
thing
to
is-
communicate to people, different location, different that, whatever.
Right, and that happens. And the thing is that the best part about having it be a community-based event is that people are going to go where you tell them to go or do what
Facts.
you want them to do because it's for them.
Yeah.
So it's open mic. It's where the vendors are going to be, the morning show. And it's like, if something goes wrong or something happened, it's for them. So people are going to work to try to make it better. So
Yeah,
last
big
year we
facts.
did have an issue with the location or whatever. So this year we're trying to just make sure that's secure before anything. And then, we just took a lot of feedback. And the first year, a lot of open mic artists, were able to do their thing.
Yeah,
But the
facts.
second year, because State Troopers, sound, all this good stuff,
But you guys had performances last year, right? Nate was performing.
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
performance, but there's a
Tomo performed.
Yeah.
yeah, but the problem was WeOn is
Order.
like a permanent staple now in the Black community. It's just like if you hear WeOn, that's the morning show / Nate and Tomo.
Facts.
But no. It's just the fact that there wasn't enough open mic performances for me. Like, you feel me? Because we had to be quiet at one point because the mayor was next door and we were too loud, and the state troopers came over like telling me I needed to stop and do this. And it was a lot of stress and pressure, especially on Steph and Cam. Shout out to Steph and Cam one more again. There would be no
sure.
Brandi Chanel without Steph and Cam. And Thrill in general. Shout out to Thrill team.
Sure.
But yeah, they were under a lot of stress and pressure, and like all of us, I will be very vulnerable. I was crying for like an hour before that whole show, but I had 60 people. I had to like delegate and be like, this where you're going, this what you're doing, da 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 da. And I had to like pull it together because we got kicked out of our spot, which we didn't know until we got there. Like, and this is at 6 a.m. in the morning. Morning show starts at 9.
No, it's stressful.
So I'm like,
It's out there at 6 a.m., bro. That's all.
Right?
Yeah.
I got the sound guy. We got the Topo Chico truck. We got all this
facts,
equipment. We got like.
I'm about to say, yeah.
That's the personal sponsor right there. That's the
Yeah.
official sponsor of Topo Chico.
There you
They gotta
go.
cut
Other
the
way
check.
around. What's up with that? Like, yo, sponsor me. But that was fire though.
Yeah, but all in all, it turned out well because it was for the people and people loved it. You know, like to say people like, oh, I want to go to your show this time. Oh, I want to be on this. I want to do that. And I'm like, of course, like whatever. This was an event that we put on because we didn't have a voice during the time. Like we put it on during the pandemic, and people weren't really allowing people to be themselves and say what they need to say, especially with the climate like that we're in right now for Black people. So it was their vibe.
Yeah, I think that's like probably what the morning show, to me, it's like that's what's like the best part about it is. You feel me? It's like it's a community coming together to like uplift the community and build like within the community without necessarily needing to like ask for outside resources. You feel me? It's like we have all the things, we have all the tools at our disposal to be successful and to enjoy ourselves, have a good time in a safe environment, and we're gonna curate that. We're gonna create that, and I feel like maybe this year, because I think this is something that we talked about with Cam and stuff last week. So I don't know. They were saying that it's cool to like talk about this, but like I know that it's not just the morning show this year. You feel me? But maybe you want to talk about what happens afterwards. You feel me?
So every year, you know, you got to grow, you got to get bigger. So we are having a night show that we're partnering with the
night show.
Yes, the night show.
Oh shit.
So we'll be at Good Life. Shout out to Good Life in downtown Boston. And we partner with Blanco, which is one of their promoters for that night. So we'll be there with an all female DJ lineup.
Oh yeah.
So first in the
what's the
city to
lineup?
do that, baby.
So we obviously got Brandi Chanel. Well, who's the rest of the lineup?
I'm actually gonna save that. I'm gonna save
Okay,
that.
it's a
gotta leave a
surprise.
little bit of mystery.
You gotta pull out to find out type shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and it's definitely
Facts.
like a fun night. Like come out, you know, like it's just a lot of people. Whenever we would end the morning show, people like, yo, like what
What's
y'all doing the
next?
after
What's
party?
next,
Da, da, da.
right?
And
We
like,
all here. We all here right now.
Exactly.
Where's
And-
the next move?
Exactly.
There was another move last year.
Yeah, but it
and
was something
also-
different.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a
Yeah.
different vibe. It was a different type of event too. It was a bunch of
Yeah.
different types of events. There were like mad events going on that day.
You're not
And it was
getting the
Juneteenth.
morning show.
It was
vibe.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
about to
there
say,
was a
like, I'm
Juneteenth
enjoy this one
event.
because it's my first
Nigga
one.
day.
I wasn't there last year. 'Cause I was
Really?
traveling.
Oh,
You feel me? I was not there, so this will be my
This is
first
before
morning
we
show.
actually rocked with Yves for real.
Bro, relax.
You just got
This is before
inducted.
Yves rocked with us. Okay,
Oh,
got you.
nah. That's crazy.
That's wild.
Nah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I
it's
just
gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time.
I love to
looking
hear
forward to
because
it.
I
this
know.
summer seems like it's gonna be a crazy summer.
Yo,
Yo. It's gonna
For
be
sure.
a stressful summer, you know, because when you are
sure.
the ones putting on the events, but
Mhm.
you know, like you said, like there's gonna be moments when you're stressed or things that come unexpected that make you want to cry for real. And
Yo.
but
Sometimes you gotta
when
let
it
it up.
works out, or
For sure.
you know, after getting through all those obstacles, when it finally pays off, like that's a beautiful thing.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
You know?
And it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of like tedious acts and like, you
Mhm.
know, I don't really like asking for people for things. And I had to like learn, like, that's not you.
Have
Like
to.
you have to be
You have to
able
learn
to
how to
like
do that.
ask and do things like,
Yeah, facts.
this is your job. Can you make sure you get this done?
Everybody
Or this
gotta
is
roll.
that. And then not have it look like she's a bitch. Like, you feel me? Like a lot of times I'm in spaces where I put that like, I say party planner hat on, but like it's like, you know, just like delegating like what things need to get done. And if
Yeah.
it's not my team, like if it's not people who know me and they're like looking at me like, what the fuck? Why is she talking to them like that? Or like why she thinks she can talk to people like this? It's like this never that. Like this is how I am and this is how it gets done.
Yeah, facts.
Like, it's a
You
reason
gotta be
why
assertive sometimes.
there's a reason why we have this many attendees. There's a reason why we have this many people working. It's a reason why we have this many sponsors. And it's because of how we get things done. And if you don't like it, you don't got to be here. But definitely understand that this is our space and everybody's comfortable here.
Got a job to
Facts.
do too. Yeah.
This shit is
Yeah,
work.
like-
This shit is work. Like, you know,
It's
like
hard
we want to
work.
put on, you know, you want to put on an event for people and provide an experience. But in order to do that, you got to actually put the work in. And that shit is stressful. You're not
Yeah.
only being a DJ is high pressure in itself, but when you're also the organizer
Yeah,
of
one
the
of the
event,
organizers,
yes,
facts.
you know, you
yes.
got to worry about so many different things.
Like
you're a point
as
person.
I'm DJing, at the second morning show, as I'm DJing, the state troopers like talking to me in my ear. So I'm
Yeah,
just
like,
so it's really
Still
hard.
spinning the tunes.
Dude, I was just like, yo, this is wild. Like, this is like, but at the end of the day, I guarantee you half the people that were there didn't even know the police were like on our backs like that. Like on us. Like, nah, turn this
supposed to
shit
be like
down.
that.
Because that's how it's
Like, you
like,
feel me? But people were having such a good time. They were like, oh yeah, like the vendors, like I came out with a rack. Like I came out with it like off of a $50 deposit. Like, okay,
That's
word.
dope.
Like, you feel me? Like, that's what I want for
I mean,
you.
the deposit got to be a little bit more
Oh
next
yeah,
time.
If we still looking for vendors, y'all. Shout out to our vendors already.
You
You're
got
gonna
a
see them
brand you
soon.
trying to promote, try to get out to the people.
Yes.
You don't want to miss these opportunities, Like I
Yes.
said, we
Facts.
really building community out here. That's the most
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
And I think that's part of it is like that it's not just like building community, but it's like sustaining community as well.
That's
You
a
feel me?
fact, yeah.
Because if you're someone that has like a brand and you're someone that's like existing in this like in these different pockets of the community where you might not necessarily have as much access to like, everyone else in these like other circles, you feel me? This isn't a good opportunity to like build that bridge, you feel me? Because I think at the end of the day, really what all of us want to serve as in the different roles that we play, whether it's like as organizers, as artists, DJs, everything, it's like we're connectors, you feel me? Our job is really just to bring people together and make sure that like no matter where you're at, like there's some like you can be in New York, you feel me? But if like you've watched a podcast or you've like been on the podcast in the past, it's like now it's like there are people that might be in New York that you have like some type of connection with. Be like, oh, you know this person, I know this person too.
Right.
You feel me? So I can feel like comfortable around this person. Or it's like, oh, you was at this event, you know what I mean? I see you doing this. It's like we didn't necessarily talk, but I know that you know these people, so you're cool people. You feel me?
Right.
And I think it's a dope experience. You know what I mean? Definitely don't want to miss this.
And I was thinking that to myself yesterday after the events. It's like, I'm really content with this come up story. Like, it's a slow build. It's not overnight. It's not, but it's real connections being made. It's like, a lot of times people could blow up on the internet, but it's like, how faithful are those internet people compared to people you actually building relationships, and people are more comfortable with others because if I don't know you, you're at least a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
At bare minimum.
Right.
It's crazy. I was just telling him that last night when I was at Flynn's event. Some of the performers
On Friday,
were from
yeah.
on Friday. Some of the people from New York were talking to each other, exchanging socials and all that. And it's like, oh, you're mutuals with people out in New York that I'm knowing of off the internet. But it's like, now I know there's people who are actually connected to you for me to be like, so you seem like a cool person. Let's get up,
Right.
do some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to that event. There's
it's
mad
all-
events going on.
Man,
Yeah.
it's going to be a whole lot
And
of
it's
things.
all about your definition of success too. Like,
True.
your event could be a success because you got X amount of people there. Your event could be a success because everything like went a certain way that you wanted to, but nobody showed up. Like, it could be
Not getting shut down was a
Yeah,
success,
not
my
getting shut
nigga,
down
for
is
real.
a
So
success.
everything after that was just a plus. But
Can we all make a stand right now
what's up?
since they called us communists on TikTok?
which is
Oh,
crazy.
I'm dead. You want us
Which
to
is
confirm it or not?
actually crazy.
Can we all make a stand right now and say
Whoa,
that a
where you
successful event is not just an event where you make your money back and then some?
Yeah.
To me, that's not a successful event.
Wait.
Making money doesn't mean shit to me.
That's a pro.
It's a
You-
pro, but
you
that's
definitely
not.
wanna break
But I wouldn't
even,
say
you
that
feel
that
me?
makes
You
the
want-
event a success.
Even that,
But in
no,
order to be able to keep doing events,
Well, that's his
you
take.
got to be
that's
able
his
to.
opinion.
I was about to say I don't even think that's true because like most of the time, like if you're accumulating like investment and stuff like that, then it's like you don't really like lose money by hosting events because you have all the stuff. You feel me? Just
Even
like, keep
Yves
doing
was
it,
saying
man.
that like we didn't lose money, but
At
even
one
if
point in
we
time,
did
thought
lose,
we did. And I was
even-
like, I'm okay with that.
because
For what we provided,
it was
people.
still an investment
Right.
into something
You
bigger.
still got a return
niggas came
regardless.
up.
It would It would might have not been capital, but you definitely got something out of it because now people know that okay, you know this type of event, I can come to this event and get this, and this is the type of experience I'm gonna get.
Facts.
So now people like okay, even if it wasn't as whatever you wanted it to be, which it was, which is great. But now you can expand upon that and be like, oh, so now they got this now. Oh,
And
I'm
you-
definitely pulling up. And now I'm telling homegirl over here to
Yeah.
come with me because they missed it, blah, blah, blah,
And I'm sure with your first or second, morning show, you expect there to be bumps in the road, but that's what
Yeah.
actually you kind of look forward to that because it's like I know there's gonna be some fuck ups, and that's what's gonna make the next event even better. Like at least you did it. A lot of people scared to even try, and
Rob
that's
is
where
sick.
that's where it goes wrong.
Why you say
What's
that?
up?
Wake up, you like, I can't wait to see what goes wrong this time. Looking
Nah,
forward to it.
nobody
Can't
wants
wait
shit to
feel
go
it.
wrong. No,
but you do
I'm
have
saying-
to. You
but
can't
it's
be
like
naive to it. Yeah.
like the best entrepreneurs are just people who like are the risk takers. When you're not scared of failing, that's another level of like you just can crack a different ceiling when you're not scared of failing anymore.
Sure.
When that doesn't scare and you're not paralyzed by the fear of like messing up or things going wrong and look at those as like beautiful you know, there's challenges in it, and that's and it's a beautiful thing when you can overcome them or learn from them.
And that's hard to do because think about it. When you're in school, you're praised for getting something right. So all the time, even when you're a little kid, you did something right. Like, oh my gosh, you did this right, right? Your whole life. And then now it's time for you to do something wrong and you don't get that same reaction. You're like, oh, I did something wrong. Like, you feel me? So that's what kind of immobilizes people. They're just like,
it falls on you when you're the one putting these things together.
Right. So you have to really dig deep and think like, what can you do? What can I do for myself to get out of this cycle of like feeling scared? Like something that was really, one of my teachers or whatever. I'm a horrible test taker, but I always take tests. Like, I don't know what it is. Like everything in my life, like I'm required to take tests, but I'm a horrible test taker. And I will continue. I will never give up on the test. Like I will continue to take the test multiple times. Like I'll do it over and over and over and over again until it gets done or until I pass it. Right. And then like, it's literally torture, but I persevere all the time. And one of my teachers, like one of my mentors, she was just like I had a Harvard teacher tell me, you know, geniuses, they're a dime a dozen. You know, they get to problems and then they give up because they feel like they're a genius. They don't need to solve the problem. But a student who fails at everything is probably the best student to have because you persevere. Like you will keep going. You'll find the answer because you know that you can fail and it's okay. So
I wouldn't necessarily call you a bad test taker, you know. Like,
no, I'm a bad test taker.
I don't know. You just got that real estate. You just passed that real estate exam. Don't sound like that's bad test taking there, right? You know.
No, I wasn't gonna give up on that. My
that's dope. Shout
my
out to you.
classes were about to expire too this month, and I got it last month. So
that's what's up.
Right in time. Thank you.
Are you looking to make a transition in careers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm exploring. You know, like
For those who don't know,
what do you currently do?
I am a teacher and a DJ. And I've been a teacher, homeroom teacher for 6 years. 6 years? Yeah, 5 years. So all by myself. I currently teach special ed now. So yeah, it's a vibe. And now I co-teach because of the different like models that we have. I teach inclusion. So yeah, so it's been a journey in itself.
How's that balance been? Like, you know, teacher in the day, DJ Brandi at night, like
until the summer, those DJ Brandi in the morning.
It's easier than
do they know that you got like this other whole lifestyle?
Have any of your kids ever come to the morning show or anything like that?
They have no idea.
Not even the administration?
No. I mean, the administration, I think they have a little. I did DJ before the pandemic happened. Yeah. Because it was just like, it was just like really bad news. And I was just like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Like, I don't want my kids scared. Like, so I was just like, all right, we're going to throw a skate party and brought in like some light. Throw has lights. So like all these like strobe lights and then just played music. And I had them write down like their favorite songs, which half of them I couldn't even play. Because they were just horrible. It's like 10-year-old kids.
Shit.
Yeah, literally. I looked it up and it was some like weird music. I'm like, I can't even play this. Like I had to download some Marshmallow Head music. Like, you feel me? Like, or is that his name? The DJ?
Yeah. I know you're talking about EDM shit, whatever.
Yeah, I had to download that because I'm like, this gotta be something like on Roblox or something. Like, it gotta be something that I could give to you.
Roblox got this generation in the chokehold. The younger generation. It's funny.
See my little cousin on that shit.
Yeah, but they know to a certain extent.
But how is balancing those two things?
They must have been like, yo, whoa, like this is our teacher. Like,
yeah, right, cool.
What if I could just like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like this is what I'm gonna do. I remember Justice. Shout out to Justice. He's in the 7th grade.
I actually don't like cool teachers.
I was gonna ask
You're a hater. What?
Nah, bro.
Why not?
Because I got punished for complimenting a cool teacher before. I remember there was this teacher. There was this teacher. He was fly, bro. Like, you know, on field days, he would wear like cool jumpsuits and everything. He was really tapped in. He would DJ too. Like, and this was like the Soulja Boy era. So he knew to play the
Soulja Boy era.
I was in 2nd grade or 3rd grade. And I seen him with
He
his fly ass jumpsuit.
He
had this fly ass jumpsuit. And I was like, hey, Mr. Blank, whatever. And I was like, yo, you're such a pimp.
Oh, well,
you use the language. What the fuck?
You think I don't like cool teachers because I said something inappropriate?
Hold on.
Complimenting this because you called him
y'all think in 3rd grade I really knew it? Like,
no, of course not.
Really
but you
meant.
had to be corrected.
All I knew was exhibit pimp my ride. I think pimp meant make something cooler. Like,
hear PIMP by 50 Cent?
He could have corrected you a different way than bringing you to, than having it be authoritative, like, go to the principal type thing. But
he
like,
got me suspended.
That's forced.
That's an OD. Like, the principal's like, yeah, you know what you meant. Like, I'm so confused. Like, yo, y'all tell me what pimp mean, because clearly we got different connotations.
That's
like,
the worst part. Like, that's the worst. When you're sitting there, it's like, I don't think I did
I don't
anything
understand.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't
And then
understand.
they're coming at you, just sitting there
That's
like,
good,
yo,
bro.
what the
That's
fuck?
You said that's
a
good.
big
good.
thing.
That's a compliment. They
What?
suspended you because they thought that you were like smart or more privy than you were. They were like,
You
we
can look at
believe
it that way.
They was like, they
But
were
that's
looking at you
actually
like, you know what
problematic.
you're talking about.
That
That's
I
actually
had an
problematic,
understanding
though,
of the
for-
prostitution rings. Like, come
Yeah.
on,
That's
bro.
what they're thinking. They're
Like,
like, wow, his knowledge of the world is so profound.
That's really problematic because they do that a lot to young black
fucked
boys.
up.
Like they make them to be older than what they really are. It's like, no, this is a little boy. Like he has no idea what you're talking about.
they don't get that
Like,
same privy. Like,
no.
you feel an 18-year-old black man and an 18-year-old white man,
It's
completely different.
Like,
Facts.
no, it's just not.
You know, I think teachers are like very impressionable in a child's life. Because, you know, I really think kids are like sponges. You know,
What,
you
the
put
other
it
way
in,
around?
show,
The other
you
way
squeeze.
around,
What do you mean? Oh,
Like, yeah.
my fault. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Thank you. But I was gonna ask you, looking at it the other way around, when you have children, how many children have really like made an impact on you where you're like, whoa, like
Oh yeah.
I never, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I had a kid write me an email
Nice.
recently, and she was just like,
she didn't say anything.
Because it's like, it's like a child writing email. That's already like, all right.
yeah. So I've been teaching for about 5-6 years now. So like, I think the students in the 7th, 8th grade, and she was just like, yeah, like you're one of my favorite teachers, and you just really took the time to like explain things to me. And I was just like, oh. Like in my head, I think I'm really impatient. Like, but for them, and I think I go on tangents with them sometimes, and they like, and we have these full blown conversations, and I think like, oh, like I'm not being patient enough with them, like, or this conversation is too advanced for them, and like they don't really know what I'm saying, and they don't really understand, but they do, like they do, and they're just like, she brought up something super old, and I was just like, wow, you remember that?
Yeah, facts.
Like, you remember that? Like, you know, and I was her 4th grade teacher. She's in 8th grade now. So it's like things
That's
like
wild.
that.
Yeah.
I still have kids, especially my kids who like tell their like parents like, oh, I like her. Like, you know,
Yeah,
and their
that's dope.
parents would like text me and be like, hey, like one of my kids, oh, I miss him so much. He doesn't
Parents
even go
be
to the
texting
school no
teachers
more.
now? That's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
I'm not even a
so
teacher.
much
The
trouble.
parents be sending me
Texting,
messages.
email.
I'm
You
like,
never
been
had
so
a mom
much
that was
trouble.
like the mom who like wanted the teacher to make sure they told you what your son was on,
Yeah. Shout out
and
my
the
mom,
teacher
man.
never
My mom was ready
hesitated
to
to let my
slap the teacher
mom
one
know,
time.
like, yeah. So he was a little disruptive today, like,
yeah.
ain't
There
even
was
do
moments
all
where it's
that.
like, my mom would be sitting there listening to them like, okay, yeah, I know he be bugging. There was one day though, my teacher's like, yeah, we think he has ADHD. My mom was like, nah. She's like, she deaded that shit. She's like, don't talk about my kid like that. She was ready
Do
to
you?
fight it.
I don't know. You be talking about on the podcast.
I don't know.
He said, I will never know.
It's just the fact that she's ready to defend me. I was like, yeah,
That's
shout out
dope.
my mom, man.
No, but you
My
have
mom
to.
never defended me against teachers. She always believed the teacher. Like,
That could be a cultural thing too. Like there's some, like I had parents who literally be like, Miss Phillips, this kid's not doing their chores and like things at home what I need. Like, can you talk to them so that they can do it? And I literally have to be like, Johnny, what are you doing? Like, why is your mom telling me that you're not doing? I'm sorry. Like, you know, and then listen to me, but not the mother. And then to be the other way around where, you know, the parents are just like, I'm disappointed in my kid's education. I'm like, well, go to private school. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like you get both spectrums and it's like a cultural thing. Like some people think the teacher like end all be all. Like the teacher said this, they believe the teacher. And some people just like, these teachers don't know nothing. Especially me being a young black woman, like having to defend my like, you know,
credibility.
yeah,
or just-
credibility and like my knowledge of like teaching to like a 30-some-year-old white couple who, you know, living in JP in this $1.5 million condo. Like, you feel me? Like me having to explain to them, like, actually, I'm a really
You
good
don't know how
teacher.
far it took me to even get to this point, girl. And I'm probably 10 times more qualified
And I'm
just
your
because of
kid's
all the
favorite
obstacles.
teacher.
And
And your kids learn more than any other classroom, but don't actually take that out.
But nah, seriously, like I was gonna ask you, do you feel like, you know, in America, being a teacher is one of the most underrated or underrespected professions
Yes.
there are?
Yes.
Because like you mentioned, like you're not just educating students, you're damn near like a babysitter. You know what I mean? Like you gotta,
You're a therapist,
especially
you're a counselor,
everything.
you're
Babysitter,
yeah.
I feel like undermining.
Like
no
you buying
bullshit.
clothes,
Yeah.
you buying
It's
food.
undermining.
They drop,
Look
like-
at it.
The
Like
parent,
another parent.
exactly. The parent
Yeah.
drops them off, and for 8, especially in
They might
elementary,
see you more
it's-
than their parents.
No, they
That's-
do.
that's a
They
fact.
do.
Yeah.
During the
So-
school year, for sure.
Yeah,
maybe
they do.
high school and middle school is different because you're exchanging different teachers. But when you're in elementary and it's like, this is my teacher for the whole year, and this is who I spend every day with, like that
Yeah.
They just don't get enough respect in America. Like we,
Yeah. Shout out to all the teachers out there. Like, it don't even matter what type of teacher you are. Like, I think homeroom teachers have it the worst, but like all teachers right now, just in America, just like struggling just because of the burden that we hold. Like, we have to take care of our children. And a lot of parents don't really have the knowledge of how to do that, and it's just like, it's just the climate that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have time to sit home and teach your kid multiplication. That's my job, right? But on top of that, if you don't have the time to go through homework and shit like that at home, what else are you missing?
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? So it's just like, it's the climate that we live in that makes it hard for parents to do their job, one, and two, makes it even harder for us because now we're taking on the parent roles in our day job. Like, I'm not only teaching you, especially in the elementary grades, I'm not only teaching you like arithmetic, right? Like, I'm teaching you how to be a person,
too.
right? Like, I have to teach you how to be a person, like
PTSD,
or even explaining that. Like, a lot of people don't explain things to kids, like why this is the way it is. Like, you have to do that. Like, nowadays, I feel like you have to do that because they're not gonna care. Like, think about it. Do any of y'all really care about what y'all learned in school? Like, did y'all care about the Pythagorean theorem? No.
Hell no. That's why when I seen you,
things I didn't care.
I did because I know that when I don't understand something, like, to me it applies like generally, so it's important. And like in the past, like, I really didn't like math because it was like very difficult for me. And then like over time I started to see how like different things that they were saying were like applying to different things that I enjoyed like frequently, you feel me?
Exactly.
Especially when it came to like sports, like in baseball. And I was like, oh shit, this shit's like everything that they're teaching me in algebra, like literally is like all these things, and it counts into these stats and all this shit. And I'm like, this shit's, I fuck with it.
I also think it comes down to the language too, though. How you translate. If you're a teacher who doesn't know how to make something interesting or appealing to a child, then it's like, why would I care?
But the thing is, we're not taught that. Like, when you go, when you go to teacher school, like, you're not taught how to make this teacher. Well, when you major in education, you're not taught in college how to make this relevant for your students, especially if you are going into an urban community. I fortunately had the opportunity to major in urban education because I made the major at my school. At P.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Like, I made my major and then I went to grad school for free and majored in elementary curriculum and instruction. And they literally taught us how to teach Black students from Black teachers. Like, you feel me?
Nice.
So not everybody has that experience. So when we're talking about racial inequities and things like that in the classroom, it may make some of my kids uncomfortable. It sometimes makes the teachers uncomfortable because they're like, how do you maneuver around this subject to these kids? And it's just like, I feel so comfortable with it, one, because it affects them. It doesn't affect you like it affects them and me. It's me and them, right?
Yeah.
And also, I learned how to do that. You haven't learned how to do that. So, you're at a disadvantage. And then again,
you don't
Black
even see
teachers,
the importance of why you need to do that.
Exactly. Like, I want to say I am 1 out of 5 homeroom teachers that are Black at
your school.
At my school.
And I'm sure that's consistent through a lot of schools.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's a lot,
Nice.
That's how schools typically look like. Think about how many Black teachers you had in elementary
Up until
school.
college? Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, there's a difference.
in elementary
Up until
school.
college, I think I only had 2.
You feel me? 2. And think about okay, 3rd and 4th grade are foundational years. 3rd and 4th grade. By the time you're 5th grade, your handwriting set in. All the concepts that you learned that were foundational.
Yeah, my shit be changing. It's always bad. It's always bad, but it changes. Yeah.
Wow. I would like to look at your handwriting. Sorry, that's weird. That's weird. But like core things like in your brain are like starting to settle now because the human body changes the most from ages 0 to 12. Right? By the time you hit 5th grade, you're about to be 11. You're 11, 12. Because in 4th grade, you're 9 and 10, and you're 11, 12. So by the time you hit, that's why it's elementary, right? And then when you get to middle school, they call it junior high, whatever. Like you're settling in, and you're going through these changes. So like your body's not gonna change the most anymore. Like it changes the most rapidly and the most from 0 to 12. So if you have a teacher that's in like putting these things in your head at those specific like ages, those things are gonna stick with you, especially if they were something that impacted you in a harmful way or in a good way. Like so it's like you have to be careful. And I think that is the reason why I'm a teacher, because I know how important it is to have a teacher who cares about what they're teaching you.
Yeah.
Like, because anybody can not anybody can be a teacher, but you can go to school, get your degree, find a job, and become a teacher and deliver the material how they told you.
Curriculum, you feel me? Just make sure your MCAS scores look good, and that's all you could care about.
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
You don't got to do anything extra.
There's a difference than actually learning your students, teaching them, finding things that they like, making it interesting. Like I know one teacher, Lindsay Wright. I'm gonna say her name because
you want to say her name?
Yeah, I'm gonna say her name. She's an amazing teacher. Like she's like she literally goes above.
I didn't think she was gonna name shit on her.
Never.
Gotta be conscious of everything.
Never. She's an amazing teacher. Goes above and beyond for her kids, and it's like so like. Not even recognized. Like it's
I think
crazy.
It's important for you to say her name because
it's
a lot of times it doesn't get recognized. So
and
she's
amazing. And I watched her go above and beyond, like deliver like furniture, like you know, like make sure people get what they need, you know, for their just daily living. And this is outside of work. This is not like, oh, I'm taking the time. Like, nah, this is her weekends. This is her like, you know, holidays, like, you know, doing things for the kids and their families to make sure that they have a better life. And then with that being said, like, think about if you're spending all that time doing that for someone else, what time do you have for yourself?
Yes.
So, you know, and for me, I'm a DJ, you know, after work and on the weekends. And sometimes I like
a person too.
Right. And sometimes I like beat myself up like, damn, am I like being a good teacher? Like, am I doing enough for my kids? And it's just like, what more can you do? Like, what more can you do without killing yourself right now? Like, you need to take care of yourself. DJing brings you joy. So music is something that you like you have to be able to take care of yourself.
When you're doing a good job, like the people that you're around and the people that you're impacting will remind you that. You feel me? Like in different ways. And I think like you work with like students, so I'm sure there's always like small like sprinkles of being like those moments where you're just like,
yeah, they're actually really cute. The kids are cute. They're getting older. Oh my God, I was looking at them yesterday and I'm like, damn, like y'all got big.
Same kid.
Like 5 to 6 years.
Like I got big, but yeah.
What made you you know, decide that you want to eventually take that you're starting to take that transition from
out of
a teacher?
Yeah. I've always wanted to be somebody who taught, but not necessarily maybe in the academic setting, but somebody who like helped people. But I think the transition happened when I realized that I wasn't valued. And I feel like I'm a high value person. No Kevin Samuels, pun intended.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am a high value person, and I care about my students, and I care about the people.
Yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
care about your community.
Yeah, and I care about my community, and I feel like I'm not cared for in my profession. You know, like you can give me a high five and teacher appreciation week in a cup. Like that's
a pizza party maybe at the end of the month.
I don't even eat cheese. You know, like I don't even eat cheese. You feel me? And it's like that's what you're giving me. And it's like we're not valued, especially Black educators. And I've seen and the reason why I'm still here is because I've seen the impact that Black educators have. I am like a lot of kids who literally say to their parents, like, oh, Miss Phillips is my favorite teacher, a lot of the white kids. And, you know, a lot of, and of course my Black kids are always, you know, and I hate to like put them in boxes like my white kids, Black kids, but I didn't think. It's a different
experience.
Exactly.
You can't tiptoe around that.
I didn't think that it was going to be such a big number and thinking like, oh, like I made an impact in your life just by being myself. Like I wasn't doing nothing but just being like like just being a young Black teacher, giving you information about the world and just having fun with you and like teaching you. And I was just like, oh damn, like that made a lot of sense. But to other people, that's not very valued. It's just like, oh, you did your job? Great.
You did your job. Like that's what's to be expected.
You did your
out
job.
of you.
You did your job. And then there's no sustainability. Like it's very unsustainable. And it's funny because somebody sent me a meme today and was just like, it's just like the Jerry like meme or whatever, and he's just like, when you see that teachers becoming unsustainable, but you want to keep contributing to the world. Yeah,
he's like, he's stressed.
And
the mouse.
Yeah,
he's stressed. I'm thinking Jerry Springer.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you do? What do you do? Because you want to get back to your community. That's the reason why I became a teacher, because I was just not treated how I wanted to be treated. In your elementary school, right, and my own personal experiences, and I felt like if I had somebody who looked like me, who understood what I was going through as a kid, maybe that would be helpful. And it has, and it like made a big impact on like my kids. So
I'm sure 99% of the reason you're still in it is for the kids. You know,
I mean,
solely,
the impact.
So imagine the pandemic is probably one of the roughest years of my life because I was not with my kids. Like I just was not with my kids. So it was literally
virtual.
It was
Classes,
horrible.
It's not even the
Yeah.
it's not even the same.
It's Zoom. It's not the same. You
When they
wasn't.
came back, they was doing
Yeah.
y'all dirty with the classroom setups.
Yeah,
And
I
You
had
speak on that too, like a lot of people are saying like, oh, the kids who did come back, you could see the gap. You could see
Oh,
the
yeah.
gap in their learning year where it's like they're not up to where they're supposed to be, and it's like,
Right. So
was that
okay.
like?
So
Oh, that
Historically-
is comparing it to like your other years.
yeah.
You feel like those kids kind of went not behind, but
they're just
it's stunted.
There's a gap.
Stunted,
Yeah.
like
It
you know.
did. It did stunt them. But there's benefits to it too, and it just depended on the home. Like it depended on the home. Like
That's a fact.
like
yeah.
my kids who I would have thought would drown in like not having like that hand holding like of being in person actually did well. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, like this different environment like really helped you become independent and help you, you know, it gave you more frequent breaks. So you were more, you were able to like recuperate and like still had that energy. However, some kids were really fatigued and some kids just like, I can't do this. Like, you know, and it was overwhelming and too stressful. And some kids didn't have like the environment that allowed them to be successful. Like if you're at home and you got 8 siblings and it's 2 bedrooms, where's everybody zooming at? And everybody's in different classes.
too,
Exactly. Everybody's in different classes. So it's just like some kids couldn't even sign on for certain days or computers are not working, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it was a different time for them. And I think everybody's at a different spot and we have to just meet them where they're at and go with and deal with what we can and give them what we can, you know, and give effective instruction as well. Like, you know, a lot of people want to like scale back and it's like, you can't really scale back because if we teach a 2nd grade curriculum in the 4th grade, it's not sustainable. Like that's not gonna make any sense.
Doing
Like
a disservice to that whole generation of kids.
right. But at the same time, you have to think, is that what you need though? Like, is that what you need right now? Like you can't tell, like my kid literally was like, this is 2nd grade curriculum. Telling time is not in the 4th grade curriculum. So my kid was like, Miss Phillips, my mom is gonna buy me a watch now because you taught me how to tell time on an analog clock. And I didn't know how to tell time. And I was just like, damn, like you in the 4th grade, you know how to tell time on an analog clock.
I thought the niggas in 1st grade, like, yo, if you knew how to read that clock, you smart nigga.
But we had to go back, and we had to go back to 2nd grade
Oh,
curriculum.
that's crazy.
But mind you, these 4th graders, they've been in a pandemic since their last regular year was first grade.
First grade.
Yeah, wow.
You feel me? So like whatever gaps they had, and it's fine. But it was just like, you know, a shock to me. This year, she literally just said a couple weeks ago, and she was like, I got a watch now. My mom's gonna buy me a watch because you taught me how to tell time, and I'm always gonna remember that you taught me how to tell time.
And those
And I
are
was just like,
those
okay,
are probably
girl,
the things that really leave
you
an
and your
impact.
clock.
Yeah.
You just had like a lesson plan, you know, a couple weeks ago where you were teaching, you know, the students how to exchange money. Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
it was
and
so
teaching
fun.
them like what each currency is valued at and exchanging it for certain goods and stuff. And that's dope. And that wasn't a part of the curriculum itself.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I made that up.
There's so many things that's not included. And I think a lot of us like have that issue. It's like you get in the real world, they don't teach you how to do taxes. They don't teach you how to, you know, get a mortgage.
They don't teach you not to sell the
own
house.
real
It's not like
estate.
in
Like,
Don't
it's not
sell
in
grandma's
the-
house.
The base curriculum for sure.
you know, and these are practical things that we need to live. A lot of us do not leave high school and ever use geometry again, but for damn sure we gonna file our taxes every year. So why is that not, you know, given a bigger,
I think it's
what's the word I'm looking for? It just,
importance.
yeah,
Yeah.
priority,
I mean,
priority.
priority.
And I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that, you know, teaching is important and it's something that you value, but you might have realized through your experience teaching in Boston Public Schools that the academic environment may not be where teaching's the most effective for you.
Yeah, I feel like, and you know, it's not for everybody. You know, teaching like
Facts.
you really have to want to teach. Like, you know, this is not a profession you go in because you think it's like, oh, I get the summers off. Like you can, but you're not gonna be effective. Like, why are you there? Like you know, you really have to work hard and like care about your kids and what you're delivering. I forgot the question.
No. I mean, you said like you still be teaching, but just outside of an academic environment.
Yeah, like I one of my goals is to like open up a space. Like I like event planning and things like that, but I also used to work at a community center and I felt a lot of like joy working in a community center just by getting to know kids and teaching them things like how do you talk to somebody or like what's right from wrong, like teaching you like life skills, like oh yeah, like this is when you go to the store, make sure you have this and like, you know, like I don't know, like life skills. And I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed like facilitating that and just watching kids grow and like have a good time. Yeah, and not just kids though, like like teenagers, things like that, even adults to this day. Like, you know, like I like facilitating a space where like we can learn, like, you know, and grow. So I think that's the academic part of that doesn't really match with what I want to do, because it doesn't give you that creative space. Like you can have art, like, but that's it.
But barely.
Barely
And I'm
once a
with you,
week.
because I think I was in the same boat too.
Brandi said she got to get out of here before they strap her up.
Yeah,
Right.
But I was gonna say, like, I think I was in the same boat when I was a freshman in college, or when I was sophomore in college. Where it's like, that's what I wanted to do. Also, I wanted to be a teacher. You feel me? And I wanted to teach English because it was like, you know, I felt like when I was growing up, English teachers were bussing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's the, like, reading and writing is like the two skills that you take away from school that you use most consistently in your everyday life.
Right.
You feel me? And I feel like I wanted to be like an English teacher who was like, you know, from Roxbury, like a black man. You feel me? Like that. I know that I didn't have any like teachers that were like me growing up in the same, like in different environments. In middle school, I didn't, and that was when it like shifted. Middle school, high school, none of them. You feel me? I had one black teacher in all of high school, and like she was my English teacher, and I feel like that definitely impacted me because it allowed me for just be able to like take that next step. And be like, this is not just like information, but it's like also like she was able to like apply it in different ways because she's also Caribbean, she's Jamaican. She's like, this is like this and this, and I'm like, oh snap, okay, yeah, my mom would say something like that. You feel me? So when
it's representation. When
so
you see yourself, we only aspire to be what we see. Like, you know, like think about it. Like the reason why some people like I want to be a rapper is because everybody around them's a rapper.
They see it happening.
Like you feel me? Like we only aspire what we to be is what we're exposed to. So it's like that's a lot how I wanted to become a teacher. Like I wanted to be a singer my whole life. I had my own like production company and things like that when I was a little kid. Like I wanted to be Diddy. Like I wanted to be Diddy. Like Sky like I wanted to be like it was called Sky Entertainment. Like shout out to my little sister, my neighbors for like, you know, feeding them and all that, whatever. But that was my dream for a long time until I got to high school and saw a teacher and I was just like, oh, I want to be just like you. Like I want to be just like, I want to be smart like you. I want to do all these things like, you know.
And imagine
have that same
big
impact.
that facts.
Yeah, and
can you imagine?
But then you become that teacher.
Nate, as
and
a
like,
teacher,
oh my God, I hate it. Like
that's the thing. So this
little kid comes up to Nate, grabs their lock. Hey, Mr. Nichols. Like,
relax. So this is what I was saying is like I was in that same boat where I wanted to do that, but then I had friends around me who were also pursuing the same like kind of like career, and like. For me, I was like, I'm not taking this as seriously as them. I definitely want to be a teacher, but I don't want to abide by these specific curriculums.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because I feel like it doesn't lend to that space for like that growth that I felt from my teachers. You know what I mean? I know that they were like probably like fighting tooth and nail to be able to give us the curriculum that they did and then giving it to us and probably like receiving backlash for that. I'm like, it shouldn't be that way.
Oh yes, the backlash is real.
Yeah, so for me, I'm just like, I don't want to be in that field. You feel me? In that transition where it's like now I do a similar type of work. Just like in the creative art space.
Exactly. It's like you could still be a teacher outside of you're teaching right now.
It's
like
being
you could be
like
teaching on this pod, bro.
It's being like an educational practitioner instead. You feel me? It's like I can still practice this knowing that there's gonna be mistakes that come in and all this stuff. But it's like you said, not being afraid to make the mistakes and also understanding that like as someone who is still an educator, it's like there's knowledge to be instilled in like the people that I'm around, the people that I'm engaging with. And I mean, I might have a skill that someone else doesn't have. So I want to make sure that they're, whenever we're finished interacting, they leave with like a similar skill or an understanding of that skill at the very least. You know what I mean? It's work, but I feel like if you have that, like you said, if you have that passion for like educating others, then you'll find a way to get it done no matter what environment that you're in.
Yep.
That's real.
That's very true.
I don't know if you want to jump in and say something.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to. I kind of forget I was going to bring it.
On a more serious note, though, like we do talk about the climate and everything, and you know, with all the things that have been going on in the last couple of weeks, like how is that being a teacher, practicing, you know, lockdown drills? Like I'm sure they made y'all practice a few more times after that. You know, the recent shooting in Uvalde.
Right?
Huh?
You never did that in school. Practice like lockdown drills.
Hell yeah, we did, bro. Under the desk, get in the corner, lock the door. Principal knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Act like they
I don't know if my
close the
experience is different 'cause I went to
shades.
private school up until college.
They didn't teach that in private school?
I never did a school shooting drill or anything like that. At the most, maybe
you went to Catholic school. They said we gonna pray that shit away, nigga.
I was like, don't remember ever doing that.
That's
actually,
a fool.
I don't remember doing that. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you too.
Thoughts and
Actually, no bullshit, though, right? I was gonna ask you that too, though.
Yeah.
Cool,
Do you think you would have came to the same conclusion where you are had you went outside of just being in public education? Like if you had taught at private school, do you think you'd have a different experience?
Yes. I think I would have had a different experience, but I probably would have ended up in the same space because I've always had these feelings. Like I've always had like I feel restricted. Like I said, music's a big part of me, and like not being able, like for a long time, like I like disregarded music because I was like, I have to be an academic, and for people, right? Like for people to take me seriously, and I didn't get the same education. I went to a PWI, so I bought 2 of them for grad and undergrad and grad school. So it was just like that focus. Like I need to be like this so I could get this done. Where now it's like, why would I ever leave a piece of me at the door when I know like all of me showing up is super important, you know? I mean, like obviously you want to keep things private in your life, but like really saying like, nah, music, I can't even do that. Like I couldn't even think of music, like, you know? And it's just like, that really like, hurt me.
Like you're neglecting a part of yourself.
Yeah, like it hurt me. Like knowing that I love music, knowing I'm a big music head, like that was not okay. So I feel like in any environment that was like that made me feel like that, I would have came to the same conclusion because I can't be myself there.
So what got you into DJing and starting to take that seriously?
So my whole life, like I said, I wanted to be a singer. But when I was little, my sister, I used to download CDs for people. Like I used to burn CDs and like
on the LimeWire.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this.
LimeWire is a full facts though.
I used to burn CDs for people and give it to them, and like people be like, "Oh, can you make CDs?" And the iPods came out, so I put music on people's iPods.
You was the plug, right?
Yeah. Well, because my sister, shout out to my sister Chantel. You know, she taught me how to do all that. Like even though it was against her will, like I was just like begging for her to teach me. And and then like it just took off from there. And she would always know the new music, and I'm like, how does she know the new music like all the time? But because LimeWire would pop up. And her MySpace page was dope. Like her MySpace page was always dope. So
was you on MySpace?
That was the time. No. She's like, I was on the tail end, but like if I was a couple years older, like.
It was a vibe. MySpace was about you come home from school,
you have a certain music, your page look different. You got everybody's page look different.
Yeah, they stopped it. Remember they stopped it. They stopped
I did not
MySpace.
know Drake during the MySpace era. Bro, I was that little kid who was on. I had a high five, bro.
When he used to drop the mixtapes on MySpace and all that, you was tapping in and shit.
No, bro, I didn't say. I said the
like
blog. The
sound like
maybe Tumblr. Maybe it was. I don't know.
No, bro, I was never on Tumblr.
It sounded like something you would say.
I said in 2011, bro. I said in 2011 when he was dropping the Lucy's, like what's it called, Club Paradise and Free Spirit on DrizzyDrake.blog, bro.
DrizzyDrake.blog.
No, Drizzy Drake blog, some shit like that. I was tapped in, like I was a kid who knew too much, bro. Like I was on a high five. I had a MySpace, didn't know how to use it. Yes, you don't even know the high five.
I don't know what a high five.
You don't know about the AOL AIM? You was on the AOL
AIM.
What do you know about AIM?
I was on AIM.
You was on the back end of AIM.
I was pulling with AIM, bro.
But AIM was like dying out by the time y'all was able to use AIM.
That's what I'm saying. Is the back end of AIM.
I was really know AIM. Mr. Badass.
You remember
AIM? We don't really know AIM. No cap.
You used to be on AIM on the PSP. That's when I had the PSP. Like you had the AIM on the PSP. You also had AIM on the desktop.
Yeah.
I left that shit open on the computer one day.
Oh, my mom.
And my mom saw all the conversation. I'm swearing and all this shit. My mom whooped my ass. I'm like, this is what you do on the computer. Blah blah blah. I was like, damn, bro. I said I fucked up. Yeah, fuck
PSP
AIM,
only from that moment on.
Yeah.
But I mean, and you know, even listening to
this is so funny that we're talking about this. I just got email from work talking about we have a safe mode drill.
Damn.
This week. So yes. Now we can answer that question. Yes.
How do you feel about your safety? Are you personally concerned?
I'm not. I personally am not concerned for my area, like for my school. Not to say that I'm like, oh yeah, we chilling, can't nobody come up in there. We always have to, follow protocol, things like that. I don't think it's a high risk area, like a high area.
I mean, we live in Massachusetts.
I know,
like we're a lot more strict with gun laws when it comes to that. There's other states where it's like, if I'm in Texas or Florida, ooh.
Different. It's different.
The infrastructure is at least a little bit better in
we also have different bullying policies like than other states. Like we have a strict bullying policy that like the Office of Equity and things like that.
Tolerance.
Like zero tolerance, like which is somewhat itself problematic, but I digress.
You think it's making people soft? Like thick skin?
I don't think it's making people soft. I think it might be over It could go either way. It could be like over-reported, like we're reporting way too much bullying, or it could go like under-reported, where it's like don't want to report as much. So, you know, some things that go on, we don't really take as bullying. And that's different schools. I don't know what school.
Yeah.
I know my school, we take it seriously. Like somebody's getting bullied, like we take that seriously. Like, especially me, I don't do that. Like there's no such thing. Like, not saying that doesn't happen, but like
if you're aware of it.
Yeah, like it's not a thing. Or it's being dealt with, you know.
Mhm.
But I think in terms of like safety, like I feel safe like at my school. I think my kids are safe. I think that there's anxiety, but I don't know if it's real or it's from media. You get what I'm saying?
It probably is the
like,
media.
You know, like I don't know if it's like I'm really concerned about
Because there was
space.
another one. I woke up today and it was like another mass shooting.
Which
like,
is
Yeah, Phillies happened
crazy that they're
yesterday.
happening so frequently. Like
Philly,
in Philly.
Yeah.
And it makes you think like,
in Philly.
is it happening more frequently or are they just reporting on it more because this is what, you know what I mean?
This is the hot issue right now, yeah.
I think right now it's happening more frequently.
Probably, yeah. It's
I think
probably
it is
But it's been
happening more.
happening throughout the entire year.
and then
even
probably
like,
underreported during those times, but now it's a more hot topic.
And you have to think about people been brewing in their homes for the past 2 years.
That's
So
what I
like
said,
whatever's happening to children in the pandemic is now being, you know, either emphasized or whatever school's doing is bringing it out, and it's like people are taking it out in that environment, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't know, because a lot of domestic and like home abuse like happens during that time,
Yeah.
especially when people indoors, like in vacations. You know, they warn us like during vacations, summer vacations, long vacations, we have to be mindful of like the kids might be going through stressful situations
Yeah,
because
facts.
they are at home.
That's
So
right.
if you're at home for 2 years straight and you don't have no outlet,
Mhm.
like, and now you've been holding all this in, boom, maybe this is how you're showing it. Like you want to, you know, be violent.
Facts.
It's hard.
That's tough.
it's real life.
What was you gonna ask me? You said, yeah, I gotta talk to you
Oh
about
no,
it.
we can talk about that later. I don't want to.
Oh, no,
too much time
okay,
on
okay,
that.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, that's
Real, man.
that is real.
I feel like it's a stressful time, like for everybody. I just also know that like as we continue to move forward, like as like a society, I feel like there has to be like a level of understanding and like commitment to understanding. You feel me? Like where everyone's coming from. Because I feel like right now, because I think like they use like it's kind of like those comments that we saw. It's like people are using like
So yeah,
mental health as
we
like an
gotta
excuse.
clarify
Yeah.
too, because you threw that comment in with no
Well, this is like more related to,
background.
like,
but
what
the
Brandi
reason
was
that
saying,
some
but,
random
yeah.
person on TikTok, they was like, if you're not 100% for guns, you're a commie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And then there's people like in the comments,
Comrade Rob.
yeah, don't do that.
Damn, you don't mess with comrade. Hey, you can call me
I like
comrade.
the
Nate. I rock
I
with
like the root
communism. I think
word
it's
of
bussin'.
community. You feel me? But
I think it's
it's
bussin'.
it's never been executed the way it should be. You know,
I love communism.
Past
I think it's
experience.
bussin'.
that is Nick speaking to you. That,
comrade
that does not
Nate next to
reflect
you.
on that does not reflect
Oh
on
my
bad for the
God.
community. But you know there were
Bad
people.
for the community. Okay.
Okay, don't.
Okay.
But there were definitely people who was giving pushback. You feel me? Or people who were hesitant to even
Yeah,
like
facts.
engage with the content because it's
Sorry,
such
my
a it's a polarizing discussion.
It is.
You know?
It is.
And people don't know what to take a stance. And I know the comments I seen for sure was like, well, if they're gonna have it regardless if you make it legal or illegal, so everybody's gotta have it. I was like, nigga, you want us all to be Rambo out here? Like,
No
what?
bullshit.
It also affects different communities differently. And I
Facts.
think some
Right.
people coming from, you can only speak from your experiences, like regardless. Like I don't care if you can have empathy for someone else, but you can only speak from your experience. So if you've never experienced what it's like to be a Black person on the other end of this, like, or to be a parent on the other end of this, you have no idea where they're coming from with their,
And I think it goes both ways too, because that perspective of like, yo, I need to protect myself. I might have that. I might say you don't need it. If you do need a gun, just a handgun. But there are people who might feel that way because of their own personal experiences, because they might have gotten robbed or they were lacking at one point, and because of those experiences, it made them become more pro gun or whatever the case was.
Bottom line is though, I know one of the. Let me write it like this: a solution that is not.
Viable.
Nah, come on. I want to make sure I say this correctly because I don't want to give people the space to like
Right, because
manipulate
they
words
already
and things like
call
that.
you with communist.
All I know is providing teachers firearms is not the solution.
Oh,
yeah.
hell no. We just
At
talked
all.
about
Like,
all
at
the
all.
different roles that a teacher
feel me?
juggles. Now they strapped like.
Now I gotta worry about having a gun? No.
Yo,
Now there's
bruh.
security too. Like, yo, so dope.
Right?
Look
Like,
at one teacher that don't fuck with you, pull out the drawer when you acting out. Like
it's not even
Roberto,
that.
sit
What if I
down.
gotta go to the
You know, just-
bathroom? What if I gotta go to the bathroom? I gotta
And
bring the gun with me to the
I
bathroom?
never thought.
Right?
Yeah, because you can't leave it there.
Can't
Let
leave
the
it
kid
there.
No,
get
you
it.
can't. it up. You lock it up and you have the key with you, right?
But think about how much money that's
Anything
going
can
to
be
That's
broken
such a
into.
liability.
Anything can be broken
They
into.
don't even got. You want to give them guns? They don't even got new books. Y'all still using books
We're
from
still
10 years
using
ago.
the worst
Like,
social studies curriculum in the world. So it literally
Like,
calls
what?
black people monkeys. Like, it's just really bad. Like, it's just really bad.
I think we got a whole lot to do with a lot more things we could do with the resources and invest in those in the school system. Other than that, that's just
there's a lot of different things.
that's fucking
besides
wild.
I
Guns.
definitely have
And you know
some
what?
teachers. Oh, you about to say?
Now I was gonna say like it even brings back a topic that we talking about yesterday while DJ Rob was spinning the tunes,
TJ
right?
Rob.
It just makes you realize like
TJ Rob.
although we come on this podcast and we talk about all this and that and like we don't like this type of music or whatever, or we don't want to encourage this type of music. I go on there, bro, and it's like all the music I'm playing, it's like the shit that bumps is murder music, like, and
That's not.
Doesn't have to be though.
Bro,
I feel like
that's
that's a song we was listening to yesterday. He said he was talking about something about like just nutting in shorty. It was a Jamaican song though. And it's
Yeah,
just like,
facts.
I
love the fuck. That one right there.
Break the condom, break the condom.
He's like, that's my problem. Yeah, he was saying, I love, that's my problem. Fuck too much. And then he was like, fuck so much till the condom bust or something like that.
Yeah, it is over and over.
Over and over again. That shit was busting. That shit was hard.
yo, but
wow.
I was really like,
I'm really curious to ask you, especially as a DJ, right? Because the one specific song I'm really talking about is like, yo, and I was saying this to Nate and Yves yesterday. It's like the effect that Finito has at a party is hilarious. Because I played Finito at the cookout, and then everybody rocks out like they never heard it before. Well, obviously, like, as if you heard it before, because you know the lyrics word by word. But you'll bump it with
This
your
is your
niggas,
vibe.
like, and then you'll go to a function. The same day, they'll play Finito again, and it's not even like you'll act like you didn't hear it before
Played it
earlier in the
twice.
day. They played it twice.
They did.
So
I
some
said that
people
to-
heard
yeah, I
it
was saying
3 times that day, but you're still bumping
Nah,
that
by the
shit.
third
Like,
one though, I was just saying, nah, I can't do it again.
bro.
how
every
many
time
times do
hear
I gotta
that
say
shit's
I'm
so
gonna blow New
overrated,
Jersey
bro.
up, bro? Like as a DJ,
I don't know.
how many times like
Niggas be gassing it.
Yeah, so I think
Shout out
that
Chief Keef.
I think
no, Chief
that
Keef is a pioneer
For sure.
music plays an important part in people's lives. Like music touch areas of the brain that that you can't really get to through words. Shout out to Stranger Things. But yeah, anyway.
I've never watched it.
I'll never shout out a Netflix show.
No,
I've never
I
watched it.
love Stranger
Never.
Things.
But I'll give Stranger
Anyway.
Things an exception though. That show
Yes,
was hard.
see? So like music is different and people will never remember what you said, but they'll remember how it makes you feel, right? So if music is making you feel good and people are turning up to a song, like how many times have you seen a song where like people are turning up and you're just like, I don't know the song, like what is this? But you want to know the song because everybody's like, dude, like, lit to it. It's really like just trying to like figure out what makes you feel good, you know, like, and it's the opposite way too. Like there's songs that I genuinely hate that if I ever hear, I would really cut it off.
What are those? What's that?
Like, I'm trying to think of a song.
Finito.
Fucking
For
Happy.
me.
You don't like Pharrell?
Pharrell? When that song's ass.
She's with me with the Pharrell.
There was
song's
a meme.
ass.
There was
She
a
not with- I don't know
meme
if she
that there
with
was a meme that just came out
Is
too
Pharrell
about it, and I
overrated?
was no, never.
You're bugging, but that
Never.
song is ass though.
That song drives me crazy.
I heard that song like 50 times
Is
a
it
day
ass
for
or
3
just play it
summers.
out?
I
Is it
had to
ass or is
turn
it
it
play it
Hearing
out?
it for 50 times, well, it's also not that good. But hearing it 50 times a day for 3 summers, bro.
I had to turn it
I don't
off.
even, every time I watch the first Despicable Me movie, bro, I'll be like, turn this shit off, bro. I don't even remember what that movie's about. Second one though.
Bag off of that song though.
Oh,
No,
of
for
course,
sure.
of course, of
That's the
course. It's
Despicable
As it
Pharrell.
should.
theme song.
I fuck with Pharrell. But
So,
again,
like
that
as a
song,
DJ,
though,
like
is-
is Cuba Shuffle in that list of songs where it's like, how many times
no.
do I have to hear
that's a
that?
classic.
No, those are classics.
Because she's a DJ, like the frequency that you hear these songs, you get how
There's-
tired of
There's
them. do you-
dances attached to that though.
yeah,
It's true.
I would-
Those
That
songs
is the
is
difference,
Like, it's
you're
a good,
right.
yeah, it's a good time.
I would say like there's things that people there's like think about it. The DJ, if I work a show this night and I work a show the next night, I'm probably playing the same exact thing. So like I'm used to hearing stuff over and over again.
True.
I think what people don't realize is that they don't listen to certain things over and over again. So when they go out, like you only going out to like you're not going out to the club twice in one weekend. Like you're probably like, oh, I'm gonna go out to Cookout Friday and then I'm going to the club Saturday.
There's definitely some people who be in the clubs.
I mean, but they fuck with that and they don't mind hearing shit over and over again. Like how many times you go to the club, right? So how many times? So when you're going to the club and you're hearing Dreams and Nightmares by Meek
might be
Mill,
the only time you listen to it that whole month.
And then when you go back, you know, so it's just like, oh, I remember how this felt this time. You feel me? Like, what's a random like song that I not hate, but it's like, oh, we pop out at your party. I'm with the gang, and it's gonna be your like
song is that.
You
shit
see?
That's Polo G.
That's Polo G.
Polo G and TJ.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just so blessed. I don't know shit about that.
So if we play that, mind you,
that.
that's not something I'm listening to. Like, yo, personally. Hey Siri, play. Like, no, personally, I'm not listening to that, and I don't. But I know that if I play that, that's gonna hit. Like that's gonna hit, and I'm gonna play it because people want to hear it. And if I play it again at the right time, say I played it too early, which wasn't there, so I play it again the next day. Like it's
Siri listening to you and shit.
Oh, sorry, Siri. But yeah, like it. Sorry, I have a bad habit of touching my phone.
No, you good.
Yeah, like it's like that. Like, and just as a DJ, you just know like it's constant repetition. Like DJs like. Any DJ will be like, yeah, it's just like constant repetition and like tedious work. Like, you know.
I want to ask you this. What song do you think recently has came into like that type of effect? Or like a Dreams and Nightmares,
that I'm so
like
tired of hearing.
I thought Mo Bamba was going to do that and it faded out. You feel me?
Yeah, like we're not playing that no more.
I think it's because that nigga Shaq, no bullshit. He just didn't drop after that. So like he kind of
had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
He did.
I would say, oh my gosh, if I hear freaking In My Feelings by Drake.
How'd that go?
Everybody get your motherfucking roll on.
Kiki.
I mean, no, that's Nice for What. Sorry, nice for Kiki. Do you love
Nice
me?
for What's a good one. I feel like Nice for What. I feel like Nice for What to me is like bigger than the other one.
I like Nice for What.
I fuck with Nice for What. That shit's hard.
Kiki, do you love me? Like, oh my god,
that got annoying because of the dancing and the whole.
But that used to, when it first came out, that used to be my shit. Like before it had a video, before it was popping, before people was doing YouTube, what are they, TikTok? I love that. No. Boot Up is a vibe. Boot Up is still a vibe at the club, especially if it's an R&B night. Boot Up's a vibe. But
I want to go to an R&B night.
Silk.
Facts, yeah.
What days do they have those?
Every last Thursday of the month.
All right, say that.
Yeah.
You gotta pull up. I mean, I don't know if you want. I gotta look at Nick's my R&B counterpart on the pod.
I'm gonna just be listening to the music.
Silk is a vibe. Silk is such a vibe. Shout out to Real P, Baby Indigo. It's a vibe.
All right, say that. That's no pop.
Yeah, those are like, I feel like that's the trio right there. Like if you're asking me about, like I would throw Wash Him in there too, but if you ask me about like the best DJs in the city, it's y'all four right there. For me, that's the names.
Baby There's so many good DJs.
Baby Chanel,
Real P.
I don't know.
I was trying to get a little bit something out of you.
But there's so many like good DJs in Boston. Like
facts. I'll say those are my favorite.
Oh yeah, those
definitely. Like my favorite DJ is Mez Wave. Like my cousin's my favorite DJ. Like I think he's like the dopest. Like cause he can take you from like one place to another and you didn't even know it, but you just vibe the whole time. You're just like, yo, is that song? And he makes everything just sounds so smooth. Everything is just like dope, and he'll play some shit you ain't heard in a minute. You're like, yo, this used to be my shit. Like, you know, like, and he's just super dope. Yeah. And he's super smart and intelligible. Like,
do you,
intelligible? Is that a word?
What do you think the balance
that means,
is?
like, but intelligent. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think the balance is for you, like, personally, when it comes to current music, like 2021 and up? And
I have a horrible balance.
Cause I'm not. I think the playlist I was playing was probably from like 2015, 2014 to like 2018. That's
because the new music is not sustainable. You cannot listen to drill all night. You cannot listen to drill all night. I could probably give you a section of it and let you be lit for that section, but I gotta throw it back.
And it's not even like they love the songs. They just want to get their dance off. They want to get sturdy. You know what I mean?
I
could do that for you with different music, like that you would actually like. Like you don't even like this music. What are these niggas saying? You don't even like this. Like you don't even like. It just sounds good.
I will say drill beats, as repetitive as they are, they're the hardest beats out right now, bro. No, hardest like there's nothing more aggressive than that. Like that
aggressive. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that's what people like. They like black people being aggressive.
You hear that?
Like they want black people to be like, I fucking kill niggas. I kill your mother. I put her in the ground. Fuck your bitch. Like. Fuck,
And
like
then make a nice dance to it. Niggas just casually.
The
Like,
dance has always been very interesting to me, but I'm not gonna get into all that.
Gotta get sturdy to that. Boy, come on, dog. You killed your mom.
like that's crazy.
but that, like,
Whereas, hey, compare that to Banga, like swag surfing back in the day. Man,
Yeah.
I got that swag.
Yeah,
you feel me?
that's a
Like,
better
you
message.
know, like that literally brings black people together. Literally,
Yeah,
physically
no
brings
bullshit.
black
Yeah,
people
facts,
together.
wobble. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but
I'll
it's
get that in a minute.
And that's what I was saying. I feel like there's a
but that's
disconnect
a
between the
song
generations.
that you would play that you know, oh, I'm playing Wobble, Cupid Shuffle, like even still the Cha-Cha Slide. I'm playing
Feel me?
Out Standing by the Gap Band so we can do the
I was
electric
playing Out
slide
Standing
too.
the other
Yeah.
day.
You know, we're
I love
playing.
the cha-cha slide. The instructions just be in the. I'm like, I fuck with that. You feel me? Keep it
Yeah.
shuffle. I'm like, I fuck with you. Giving me the
Everybody
instructions.
if it was up to me,
Your
I'd just, play a whole bunch of Keith Sweat.
Pause.
Keith Sweat.
I was at a
Okay.
pause.
Yeah, you bugging. So
Nah,
Keith
bro.
Sweat is a vibe.
It's only
Some
pause.
SW.
But New Jack
that's all
Swing
you're
Keith
playing?
Sweat.
No, that's all
New
I'm
Jack
playing. I could
Swing
go
Keith
on a
Okay,
whole
Keith
list,
Sweat.
you feel me?
okay.
Because I like Keith Sweat, of course. All his bangers are good.
Play some Alicia.
Yep, Alicia.
You don't know my name.
I don't know about that song,
You can go
but
over.
I was about to
You can
say.
go
Oh, we
over.
gonna really get it. Yo, see,
That nigga said, hey, yo, no,
gonna
I'ma
host
play
a-
that shit.
I'm gonna host an R&B
You
night.
don't know my
We
name.
gonna really get in our bags, bro.
And it don't even gotta be an R&B night. It could just be like whatever. Like people are failing to realize that when you go to certain places, like you're going for that DJ. So if you know that this DJ likes to play a certain way, expect this.
Facts.
Like expect this. Like
Yeah, don't be
go
surprised
there
when
and
the
be
Drake
like,
come on,
can
nigga.
you play?
I'm
Can
not-
you
I'm
play
not
this?
surprised.
This?
That nigga Miles was
Frequency.
feeling
You
this
gotta,
shit.
you
I
gotta
heard that.
frequency.
He's
That
like,
gotta be your tag.
it.
You like, yo, DJ Roberto. Expect Drake.
nah.
Fuck, I
How'd you
can't
feel
bro.
on the moment where everyone turned at you was like, why the fuck did you just stop that song?
So what ended up happening was
Wait, what? You never stopped the music. What happened?
Hold on. First of all, like I said, I'm only dealing with Spotify. I don't got the turntables. I
Right,
can't do
right,
the crossfades. So I gotta hit the skips like on the right time. So we played Buy You a Drink. That's a classic. You
Yeah,
feel me?
a classic.
Everybody snapping, everybody
vibes
getting
to
their
that.
vibe.
That's feel
Yo,
safe.
By the time Young Jock's verse comes on, it's already been 2 minutes of it. I let the second hook come on. And I
But
thought it was
songs like
time to
that-
switch. But they was like, whoa, they trying to hear the. I didn't know Young Jock got love like that.
Songs
I'm
like
sorry
that,
for disrespecting you,
it's
Young
only,
Jock.
but it's not about the verse. It's about the song. So it's like songs like that people listen to full through on the radio.
play.
Feel me? So and then that gives you, as a DJ, you're doing so much on the board. You're trying to queue up. You're trying to do like
you more
your
time.
mixes. It gives you
Yeah.
more time.
Feel
So
me?
now you're thinking. So now you can play. You can let this ride out. You don't have to go through your whole playlist. You don't want to waste. You don't want to waste your good shit. So you're like, all right, this song it rides. Like let it play, and then you have your time. But because you on Spotify,
So peep this, right?
Yeah.
No, but that's
What
something
I was
had to
saying
learn.
about the 7 out of 10, part of it too, you weren't on the mic. When you're playing
mic
songs
is a
like that
big thing,
too,
too.
you feel me? You ain't had no drops in there. You wasn't saying, all right, say, you know the words, I want to hear you. You wasn't
Bro,
none of
next
that.
time,
You feel me?
next-
And
yo,
the reason,
mic is hard. The mic is hard,
And that's
though.
what helps you so that you can play the whole
I'm level
song.
1 right now, but we
The thing
gonna
is, too,
get there. Yo, Brandi, are you gonna take me on as a mentee?
yeah,
You
of
gonna take me on?
course. You
Can
gotta
I-
come to the
can I-
morning show
Can I shadow
internship.
watch you
Facts.
like during the morning
Of
show?
course.
I think
Alright,
another
so in your
important
bag.
thing too is like the prepping of it.
Oh,
When you're
yes.
like cueing a song and you're like, you're subtly showing them what's about to come next, and that reaction, they're all like, oh, he's about to play that.
Yeah.
It's
Like I
just
said-
like boom, boom. It's just
Yeah.
you ain't do that.
No.
Well, 'cause
You
he
couldn't
he
do that.
couldn't, yeah.
Don't
But
know
then
how
when
to
we
do
went
it,
to the
though.
Clark and
gotta
DJ
have
Devo,
Spotify
when I
open in
seen
2
DJ
different
Devo
tabs.
do his shit, I was like,
Pro.
okay,
I'm a pro.
there's levels to this shit. You feel me? His turntables looking crazy. He had touch screens in the turntables.
Oh, so you had CDJs?
Yeah, it had like the BPM reader right in front
Yeah,
of
so
you.
he had,
whatever that
he had
was.
That's hard.
CDJs.
That was on some different shit.
Or,
Like,
or he had a controller, like a higher level controller.
no.
for you personally, what do you feel like? I don't know. It's like, what's the next level for you in the DJing space?
What's so crazy, somebody asked me that too. And I was thinking about like, how was I doing this? I think like every time I said something, I accomplished it. So like last year I was like, oh, I need to be in the
As it
clubs.
should, yeah.
And then this year I was in the clubs.
In the clubs.
And then like I sent a
heavy.
screenshot. Somebody asked me like last year, like you need to DJ Silk. And then it was so funny. I just sent it to the Silk page and I was just like, look, like somebody said I needed to DJ Silk and I DJ'd Silk. So I don't know. So it's like whatever I feel like what's next to me, I feel like really just like it's so hard to balance everything. Like people don't realize how much time and energy it is to DJ, especially if you're picking up equipment. You got equipment, like DJ equipment is so finicky. Like it can break. Like one time, a whole side deck when I was on CDJ stopped working, so you had to do instant doubles. And then like if you're not paying attention and you load it on the wrong deck, it's a dub. Like not a dub, but like you can always come back from it. But like I'm real self-critical and like I literally analyze everything that I do sometimes, and I'm just always picking it apart. Like
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure.
Because if the music goes off in the middle of the function, everybody looking at you.
Right, and like I said, I was at an event or whatever before we had got on. I was talking about an event where like I thought the DJ was killing it, and somebody next to me was just like, "Nah, this ain't it," and I'm like, "What?" I'm this shit is lit, but like and it's just like you're never gonna satisfy everybody, and I think that's my biggest thing is just like trying to touch everything so everybody gets like a little piece of something. Like you might not get the whole night of drill because I'm never doing that. I promise you. But
what kind of event would that be, bro?
You're gonna get something. Like you're gonna get something. That you can. And if you're only like I only listen to this type of music, then you're not living. Like you're not living your life.
I think my favorite thing about like you as a DJ and just DJs in general is that you play music that's not necessarily always in the mainstream. So like what you're getting is like an experience that you like that feels familiar and like you can enjoy while also learning something new. And even like, like I know that I like the way I look at it is like I know that this DJ was fire, but I'm like, yo, what song is this? And I'm like inclined to like either like Shazam or like Spotify or ask them what it is.
I know that
because I'm just like, yo, what is this song?
He said he didn't know 50% of the songs I played.
That's because those songs were just like popular songs that are like background
being
music.
in the crowd.
I'm talking about hearing it and be like, what is this?
Oh, you saying I don't like
when
to hear
you're in the crowd, you don't like to hear new music, which I appreciate a lot.
No, that's not true.
I like when the DJ
tell me I'm
what's this one?
No.
What's that?
I like when it's actually hits that make me want to be like, oh shit, I gotta find out what this is.
But if it's a hit, then it's like
not a hit, but like it could be a hit and not actually be mainstream. But I'm just saying it's something that just clicks with me.
Well, yeah, it's the way it's presented.
I will say
it's the way it's presented.
But I don't also like going on a run of music that I don't know. It's cool when you mix it in with the shit I do know, and then you're also mixing it in with new music.
Yeah.
But if I'm just going the whole 30, 50...
So imagine how I felt yesterday, right? I'm hearing all these songs. This is literally just background music.
I have no idea what this is.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I mean, though. Is that like, I know of these songs.
Everybody else
I've heard these songs before, but I don't know them. So it's like, it's just background music.
Yeah.
I'm talking about music where it's just like, oh, this is something that like is familiar because it's like, it could also be background music, right? For me. Yeah. But it's like better than what I just heard. It's better than like these voices that I'm familiar with. Yeah. So let me be like, yo, who is this person? What is this artist? And all this stuff is fire.
And that's not completely true because all of like the dance hall, soca music, all that,
like
hits I don't listen to that personally, but I've heard it enough times. What do you mean?
Because you didn't grow up listening to that type of music. It's not the music you hear in your household.
But I'm so familiar with it now, just over all the events that since college and stuff like that. There's certain songs. It's like I don't know the words to this, but I know how it make me feel when this shit come on. This shit's a vibe.
Can we get more soca music?
Oh my God.
I feel like DJs don't be playing enough soca.
I have a whole soca vault that I got from this dude in Jamaica that I'm not able to play because it's one, I don't know the music like that. I have to like actually go through and listen to the music. But it's like there are events where it's just like soca is a vibe. Like, oh my God.
But
like
people don't feel like I don't know what it is. I think it's because soca songs be long.
It do be long, but you can still work them in. Like
bullshit, they be bots.
Oh, you can soca's a whole vibe. Soca, Afro beats, like that whole like West Indian like genre, like anything besides what we always listen to is,
I can't
made by Black people.
Facts.
Hey man, for real. Now everybody watching this, yo, make sure you pull up to the morning show and see Brandi in her
pull
element.
Up to the morning show.
I'm looking forward to it.
Element,
first time.
Yeah, it's gonna be if I'm running around telling people. Oh yes,
are you DJing
the night show?
Yes, both events?
I'm DJing both events.
Say that.
So you'll get what it's like to see me in the morning and what it's like to see me at night because those are two different people.
And then we'll also see the mystery.
Take a nap.
It's a must.
The mystery lineup.
Oh, we're raffling. We're raffling off, and we got some really cool raffle prizes, guys. Like OD. Like I want to go. Oh.
Can we get a hint? Nothing.
No, that was a hint.
I want to go.
That was a hint.
You get the opportunity to go somewhere. Okay. Heard you.
All right. Fire. Now, before we get out of here, though, we definitely got to talk about this, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. Like
we never know where he's going.
When we ever.
Hey,
I have something I want to bring up, and I'm gonna wait to see what he says.
Trust. Right? We always talk about, everything that's brewing in Boston. It's like the perfect storm that's coming. And who would have thought that it would have been correlated with the Boston Celtics having success too? How y'all feel about that? What do you guys think a championship for the Celtics means for Boston?
I feel like you gotta take that hat off, you jinx.
Yes.
What's up with that?
I'm
They
gonna
lose
ask you
now?
to-
Listen,
This
hold
nigga's
on.
a fraud.
I'm
This
actually
nigga's a
not
fraud. This
a
nigga's getting
Celtics
bounced the
fan.
first round. He's talking about, oh, they're
First
gonna
round
lose.
exit. I don't want to see them niggas in the playoffs. Who the fuck wants to
Yo,
watch
we got
Al
the session,
Horford?
right?
I want to watch Kyrie and KD.
Yo, listen.
I'm a
We was at the
temporary
session, right?
Celtics fan for
After
the
they win the
playoffs.
game, he sits there, he's like, well, the Celtics is obviously a better team than the Warriors.
Yeah,
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
I'm a
Let's be
Lakers
clear.
fan, but I'm not the
Whoa.
Lakers. I'm not the Lakers fan that hates the Celtics. Like I can't hate the Celtics
That game is
because I'm not from the '80s, bro. It's not like the
feel you.
Celtics
I
have
hate the
taken
Celtics.
something away from the Lakers in such a long time.
But let's
That's
make this
funny.
clear. I mean, last decade was 2 decades ago, I guess. But let's make this very clear right now. If the Celtics lose the playoffs, they lose in the finals, it is definitely Young Rob's fault.
No, but they won't. I'm saying the
Okay.
Celtics are
It's
winning
your
in
fault,
6.
Rob.
Charles Barkley.
And 6.
The Celtics are winning in 6. I'm calling.
I'm not mad with that.
But what do y'all think it means to the
The
city
Warriors
of
can't
Boston?
lose tonight.
Well, as someone who's from Boston, right? I know you can't speak on this,
No, I
but
can't.
us
That's why I
three
asked you,
can. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Us three, this is born here, bro. This is a Brockton nigga, bro. Don't do that.
Really, you were born in Brockton?
No,
He was
I was
born in Boston.
Oh,
So
but
you
you
live
live
in
in
lived in
Brockton?
Brockton
I
his whole
love
life.
Brockton my whole life.
I don't know.
But, you know what I
That's
mean?
crazy. That's
He's
crazy.
not like he's not from here, but he's from like when you say born and raised, born in Boston.
The
Straight-
what happened to the Rays part?
That's born in-
The Rays
Say
part
why
is
you-
way
why you
more
be saying that
important.
to be like, oh, I was born in Atlanta, but I was raised in New York. You feel
Feel
me?
me?
It's
Exactly.
that's
He's
where
like
they're
born in Boston.
So
he's
you from New
No.
York?
So I'll say this. As someone who lives in Boston, I know that as of recently, like our basketball success has always been like, you know what I mean, like marred by like inconsistency or like injuries or disappointment. You feel me?
a lot of potential.
Exactly, with a lot of potential attached. The last time the Celtics won in the finals, they won the NBA championship. It was just like I remember that time just being like such like high spirits and such
Yeah.
investment being put into our community. And that like, and what I mean by that is that the city sees this, and there's like now there's an entire generation of like young people that are seeing maybe like like experiencing basketball in a different way for the first time. We need to invest in more programs for young people to be engaged in this particular sport, or for like I'm looking at it from that perspective because obviously that's the demographic of people that I'm like around and support the most. But that changed like the career trajectory of so many different young hoopers. You feel me? Like they were like, dang, I seen what like the heights could be. You feel me? Like then we have people that are growing up and they're like, I want to be in the NBA. You feel me? Like not even just because they're favorite players in there, but because of what it can do for the city. You feel me? And how that impact can have on like their peers, their families. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm trying to bring a trip to Boston too. I want to be next up. You feel me? And like the level of like reinvestment that the community and that the city could take could be
real
immense.
shit.
You feel
I
me?
love how positive Nate is. Like,
Always brings it
I'm
back to the
thinking it.
community.
I'm not thinking it that way. I'm thinking about it like,
Oh, the clubs are going up.
yeah. I'm thinking about
All I
that.
do is
I'm thinking about that. But I'm
win.
also thinking about like what that means in terms of like Boston's already a growing city. Like
Yeah.
Boston's already a little Hollywood. You know, like, you know, that's the slang for it, like little Hollywood. Boston, like real estate development is crazy. As you can see, gentrification is like
Facts.
on
Big
1,000. And gentrification is not necessarily a bad thing. It's the displacement of Black people that makes it a bad
Facts.
thing.
Yeah.
So
And not giving affordable housing.
that's what exactly, and that's what I'm thinking. Like Boston is
yeah.
already going up so much. Like if you don't own your house already, which you should, you know, or
Oh, the
you should
value of
try,
that in 5, 10 years
You
gonna
know,
be-
do not sell your house. Do not sell grandma's house. Stay where you at. You know, I don't know too much about real estate. I'm just now getting into it, but I just know that, you know, Boston is like a real booming city right now
Yeah.
because of we're the mecca of colleges and medical. Like, you feel me? So like people are coming here because one, they need healthcare, and they also want education. And you bundle those two together on top of now
Sports?
our cities are like
Championship city.
championship
creative
city.
scene
Exactly.
booming,
And then
like-
we're called the heart of America, right? Boston, like this is where everything started happening. So, you know, people are gonna tourism and things like that, everything's going up.
That's where
You're
we
right.
win.
know?
That's absolutely correct too, especially because it's basketball too, which is also the fastest growing sport in the world.
Yeah.
It's
You
absolutely
know what's a
started
correct.
damn shame though?
That's what started here too, no? Springfield?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
In Massachusetts, but not
Springfield.
here. But
Shout out
Yeah.
James.
I
I
think
think
yeah,
so. I
Massachusetts
agree.
is
I
what I
think that's definitely gonna be an impact.
You know what's a
Something to look
damn
out
shame,
for.
bro? Anytime I'm like watching ESPN or whatever, it's like how they describe Boston fans is hilarious. Because
do
they
they
always
say?
describe Boston fans like as if we're
I've
from
never heard
Utah, bro. Like
positives. It's
not
nah,
positives,
they
though.
always say like we're racist or I feel like they
Oh,
only
That's
no,
because
I don't
that's
know.
because that is
It's
true.
not-
It's
the
like
majority
they're
of the
only looking at
attendees
like
not
Southie,
racist.
like
hold on,
for
Is the
real.
majority
Time
of
out,
the
time out,
attendees
time
not
out, time
racist
out.
though?
just to be clear, have you seen how much the NBA Finals tickets are?
Almost like 700 just to be in, up in
You know what I'm
the
saying?
sky.
There's
bro.
not niggas there.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
The
not
majority
niggas.
of the teams is not.
There's not niggas from Boston
But
that are gonna
Celtics
be
fans
in.
aren't just the ones in the arena. But I feel you. The ones in
those
the
are the
arena,
ones
those are the
that
ones
you
that
find
they're
out.
other
seeing.
players comment on Boston themselves. They're like, I don't like it there.
Yeah,
of
facts.
course.
But that's what I'm saying.
Of
It's
course.
a damn shame that they don't see us. You know?
That's a key thing that he just said. So
Like
I
this.
have friends who come from like out of town and stuff like that, and they're just like, "Yo, where's the black people at?" But to me, I'm like, "There's black people everywhere." What do you mean? Like, there's black people everywhere in Boston. Like, there's tons of events. There's tons of like artists. There's tons of things going on that you can get involved in. But to them, it feels like that's not a thing. You feel me? Like, there's literally a group of people that come from New York to bring the New York nightlife to Boston. Like, you feel me? Where it's just like Boston has its own like nightlife, and it's, but if you didn't know where to look, if you didn't have those resources, if you didn't have people saying like, oh, go to this event type thing, you would be like, Boston's definitely
You come to
whack.
Boston, you'd be like, you're gonna go to Newberry Street, Boston,
like,
downtown Boston. You might think that's it.
And it's also like, you also have to think about it. Like, these are like millionaire basketball players. Like,
Facts.
think about who a millionaire is like in Boston, white people. Whereas if you were somewhere down south, there's millionaires who are black people that you can, kind of mingle with. More, not saying there's majority of them, but there's more than there is here.
Yeah.
Big facts.
So it's like you could feel isolated and ostracized in a sense just because you here in Boston and you just not in like the events you want to go to, the people you want to hang out ain't in your pay grade.
I seen they trying to get an all-star game in Boston. And then I seen another joke where it's like, yo, if these basketball players find out, all the Cape Verdeans over here. There's a lot of Cape Verdean baby mom basketball wives.
Stop it.
Why you do your people like that?
Stop it.
I
That's
have
a
no
compliment.
comment on that. I don't
No,
know.
it's
I
not.
don't even know how to
We're a
comment to that.
beautiful race.
We are
But it also sounds like you just offering
gonna
them
say,
up.
yeah,
I don't
facts,
know.
right, yeah.
No, I'm not
He's
gonna
like,
speak
he's
on
like, we
that.
have our women
I don't know how to speak on that.
here. I offer them all to you,
That's
NBA
not all
players.
fair.
You're the all-stars.
These are CV representatives.
I
Problematic.
seen that
Speak on it.
joke
It's very
on Twitter.
problematic.
I understand the joke. We got
Nah,
a
it's a funny
beautiful
joke.
race of people here.
The problem with that though is
And we're
that
low
they're-
key. That's why it's funny. Because it's
Yeah,
like
the
once you come to
ethnicity is
Boston,
big.
Nah,
That's
niggas
true.
don't
People
know
don't
about
know
you.
what you are. People don't know what Cape Verdeans are. Like from New York, like I would be in college. People like, oh yeah, what are you? Like you like.
you could
Switch
look
your
like
nationality.
anything. Like,
what the
we're
fuck?
so
it's like, I've
racially
got Indian
ambiguous.
so many times. I'm like, I'm not that.
Someone
Like,
calls me Middle Eastern.
like I'm I'm Habesha.
and
Like
that
I'm
nigga's
not
last
that.
name is Singh.
Yeah, facts. I mean, he is
He's
Indian.
I was about to say, like, he is Indian.
So the irony.
Yeah, but like
Not really. It's in his name. He's like
Indian.
He's not gonna be like, I'm not Indian. He's like, yeah, no, my grandfather's isn't it. But I think for Cape Verdean people in particular is because there's not that many Cape Verdean people like outside of this area.
Yeah,
You know? So it's fine.
Miami.
Yeah, facts. It's budding.
Yeah, we're grown. There's more Cape Verdeans in America than there
Outside
are
than there is
outside
in-
of
yeah.
than there are in Cape Verde.
That's wild.
And it's also like it's hard. We have
Why you did that? Let's go with that.
That's actually
Nigga said we gotta get out of here.
no,
Oh my
but think
God.
about it. Like what? How many islands are inhabitable in CV?
Yeah, even though there's 9, I think like 2 of them, one's too small, and I think one is where like the military occupies.
Yeah, so like you can't really stay there, like so.
Sheesh.
I mean, you could go there, obviously.
Yeah,
And
That's wild.
but yeah,
You
and
got the
also
black
the
wristband?
history there.
the black
the
wristband.
black, like,
oh, I
wristband.
did like with my name on it. Yeah, of course.
I used to have them
that's tradition.
too. I used to have them too.
My shit
but
ripped.
they
That's the
broke.
only reason
My
I still
shit
don't
broke.
have
My
it.
shit broke.
Literally.
I have a Conti Dojo. I don't wear it, but I had 2.
You ever had the black bracelets? Like
Yeah, I had mad of them. Yeah.
Hey man,
Yeah.
culture is culture. You feel me? I feel like all
I
culture,
feel like I
shit like
finally
that is
connected.
beautiful.
Yo, after 34 episodes of Bad for the
wild.
Community,
You see
bro.
how like I'm the one that even brought that up though? Like I'm like, all right.
I technically did.
But CV has like a hard like history behind it because like people in Boston like some Cape Verdeans in Boston be like
A lot.
I'm not
But
not
no.
black. I'm
I seen
white.
another one of that.
And,
Like
but
I'm
and
Portuguese.
They're not wrong.
Yeah,
They're not wrong. Like they're
That's
not wrong.
facts.
Portuguese people are white. The
sure.
problem, what makes it problematic, is that you deny your blackness,
That's
and,
a fact.
and
You
that's
can be
what
both.
that's literally
You
what
are
makes you
both.
who you are.
That's
Like,
a
you
Cape
can't
Verdean.
do that.
Like,
Yeah.
you feel me?
Like, it's all right.
It's
like
the
there's
mix.
Cape Verdeans out here with blonde
Colonization's a
hair and
real
blue
thing.
eyes,
It's
but black
African
skin.
Americans
like,
being indoctrinated into Portuguese culture.
yeah.
You feel me? Like even our language is like
It's African language mixed with
it's
Portuguese.
broken down Portuguese.
That's the definition. Of
That's how they
Facts.
communicated.
It's a
the-
blend.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But when when it was time for, I'm only speaking on my grandparents' experience, but when it's time for, our grandparents to leave the islands and come to the States, it was just like, you can't be like Cape Verdean. Like you can't like they don't
it's
like
a
black
lot
people
harsher,
here. We're
yeah.
in the north, like and they don't really like black people here. Like, you know, so think about like
Rob's
segregation and
grandfather.
I
all
was about to
that.
say that's a running joke on the podcast that I brought up one time how my grandfather was colorist towards his own children,
Literally.
and they
He's
ran with
That's
this.
a real thing though.
Look at
That's
y'all
a real
niggas.
thing.
I don't know. I just imagine. I
That
just
nigga
gotta
was
give him
black.
your
He was on
truth.
some Uncle Ruckus shit, bro.
Colonel Sanders.
But that's a real thing in family. Not saying like your family specifically, but
But
just
it
it
just-
everybody else
happens.
might have been
It happens. It happens. You
We
know.
just got freed in 1970.
Yeah, like they
something,
just got
you know,
their
like,
independence.
Y'all still up.
That was another thing. That's another thing when you have to be very
So
specific
we're a very
about.
new country, you know,
Yeah.
like building.
Like you have to be very specific about who you're talking to when people say like the black community sometimes,
Yeah.
because some people really don't think they're the black community. Like
That's
we were
wild.
just saying, like but it's true because some people be like, well, I'm African, and you know they have their lineage that they could trace, you know, and
Yeah, facts.
no, not all of us can do that, you know,
I think
especially
especially when
Black
you're here,
Americans.
yeah.
Like you cannot do, like you
There
can't do
definitely
that.
is the black
know?
and Black American community.
Right.
See, my
That's
thing is, I just say the black community, and when I say the black community, I mean the black community that I'm a part of. You feel me?
Mhm.
So I'll say like black with a capital B community. It's like my race. You feel me?
Mhm.
Like as in like
Mhm.
my lineage cannot be traced like as easily. So that's what I mean.
And you
when I
have
say that.
roots that go, you know, generations back in America.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
also
in
Trinidadian. You
America.
feel me? So it's like on that end, it's like I know where your niggas came from. You feel me?
Mhm.
But like I associate way less with you niggas. You feel me? Because like y'all
That's
niggas
just
be
not the
weird.
culture you grew up in, probably.
No, them niggas are weird. Not like
Okay,
not
you can't just
like not
chalk
all
up
the whole
Trinidadian.
culture
Not all
weird,
Trinidadian
bro.
You
people
just
are
want your
weird.
family,
That
yeah.
side of the family is
Yeah,
weird.
okay,
Them niggas
yeah,
are weird.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
like
nah,
your-
fuck with y'all
your
niggas.
side of your
not
family.
Trinidadian
Yeah.
people, just them niggas. They're
Oh,
weird.
yeah,
So I'm like, I
that-
don't associate with them as much.
A strange family is normal. I feel like that's a
Yeah,
normal.
fact, I will say.
We can't pick who we related to.
Yeah,
You know?
you know.
You can't pick you related. That's not true, bro. You marry your wife, then you're like, yeah, now we
Oh,
related.
yeah.
Like, I can't determine.
Prior
You
to
know,
though, yeah. Prior
Facts.
to.
Before that though, it was all types of shenaniganery. I don't know what the fuck
It's
was
like,
going
that's
on.
your
Right.
brother? It's like, what the fuck?
Damn.
Right, it's like,
Like-
damn, what he do?
Like, why is that my
Like,
uncle? You
I
really
didn't-
like.
I didn't even know he was like that. Like,
Facts,
oh my
you know what I
bad. Like,
Funny.
but hey, man,
True
But I was
life.
gonna ask. I don't know if we have the time for where we at right now. One
Past.
past.
Oh.
what was gonna talk? It's a
Wild
topic.
teacher stories that we like. Teachers we've had that it's like, yo, this motherfucker should have never been my teacher type shit.
Never had a teacher like that.
Really?
Never in my
What?
life.
Wow.
How did teacher tell me I was never gonna be anything in life?
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought people made that up when they
I
said that.
know.
My
I
teacher
s-
once told me I wasn't gonna be shit.
No,
I saw
like
a
that's
teacher say
real.
something like that
that's
to a
real.
student. He said that you're never gonna. He said that you're never gonna. He said to a student, he was like, "You're never gonna pass this grade, or you're never gonna find success in high school. You're not gonna graduate high school because you don't take math seriously."
Yeah.
Math.
It was a math teacher who told me I was
That's-
never gonna be anything in life.
I was
though.
always good at math, so
Dr.
I
Kontov. Never
Damn.
forget
Kontov.
him.
names being thrown.
Never. I don't give a
Couple
fuck. I
teachers,
never
man.
forget. I'll never forget him. Dr. Kontov told me I would never be anything in life.
And now look at you.
Now look
And
at
where
me.
is
You
he
look
at?
at you now.
Where you at, Dr.
mean-
Kontov?
Oh, I can't wait to spin the block
I
on
feel like
my
that's the
old
thing.
high school teachers and everything, and just be like,
Spin
Oh,
the
yeah.
block.
Yeah.
My middle school
no.
teacher, second
all
grade.
those teachers. No, let them know like where.
What you mean? Oh, I was-
how
I was like,
much
what do you
time
mean
is
spin the
spent?
block on them, bro?
I was like, you can't be saying shit like
No,
that.
no, no, I'm not
I was like,
I'm not
yo,
talking
you're
about
a
gonna
force,
get
bro.
flagged
You're a force,
on
bro.
YouTube.
I was like, that's. I'm sorry that they said
I'm
those
talking
things.
about
bro.
just
Doesn't have to
making
be like
my
this.
rounds. You feel me? You know, there's a
But those
few
people,
I need-
but those people had like. Now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't have to say what he had to say to me. But at the end of the day, my class was like out of control. So like,
That's not an excuse, though.
It's not an excuse.
But I be understanding though.
It's
But
not
to
an
tell
excuse,
somebody
but
that
as
is
a
wild.
teacher now,
Yeah.
as a teacher now, I
You
can
can see-
see where you would get to that point. I would
Okay,
never
but
tell a
alright,
kid
so
you would
boom, right?
never
Even
do.
before,
So
like,
boom,
how
you
did
would
you
never
start?
do anything.
Yeah, go.
My teacher used to flip chairs and shit, yelling at us. This was a music teacher, by the way.
Whoa.
So it's
Yeah,
not even that
real
serious,
nigga,
bro.
real nigga. Finish explaining. Finish explaining.
None of us are savants. None of us
Second
are gifted
grade.
like that.
Finish
It's like-
explaining, yeah. But
it's
finish
like, yo,
explaining what he used to
I'm
do.
Now, like one
give
day
us-
he had a
yeah.
clipboard. I forgot someone was talking, and like while he was talking, he's like, "I told you to stop talking. You won't shut up." Nigga just broke it. I'm looking at him like, "Yo, this nigga's fucking."
Yo, he's tweeting.
That's a real
man.
nigga.
He's tweeting.
Nah,
He's not
bro.
around.
Understand
Stop,
this.
stop.
Understand this though.
Don't
Understand
normalize
this.
his
Did he
behavior.
ever put his hands on any of the students?
I don't know.
Did he ever put his hands on you or anyone that you saw?
No.
So because
He
he,
yelled
didn't
at
do
you.
the
He
most
yelled at you.
flagrant
He
thing.
yelled at you and he scared you and he's passionate about what he did, but it was flagrant, right? Because
Very
he was
flagrant.
because it was over the top in your opinion.
Absolutely.
But again, he's a music teacher. I personally feel
I
like
understand
if you're-
passion.
that's what I'm
but I
saying.
also understand you're just absurd and you're tweaking right now.
I also
But
know,
it's low-key
I wasn't there,
traumatic,
but
though.
I don't know, bro. I feel
bro.
like that's the thing. He was
Nah.
OD. I'm not saying he's correct.
He got
I'm
the
saying
boot
that
real soon.
I'm saying that I can understand like
Yeah.
his perspective, but I'm saying he was still wrong. It was flagrant, like
I'm
you
not
said,
gonna-
but I can understand.
I didn't like the teachers that felt like their class was like the center of the universe. Like we don't have
I feel
5
like
different
that,
other
though.
classes.
It'd be like that though.
Oh, you're talking about like
Later on, like even professors like in
I don't
college,
think my
like
class the only class.
you feel me? Like a teacher give me 20 hours of outside work.
Yeah,
like
it's
not
a little
every
wild.
other teacher's giving me the same amount. You're bugging. Like and this
Yeah.
music teacher, like, yo,
Mr.
we
Montgomery,
with you
man.
for like
Funny
an
nigga.
hour a week, bro.
Mr.
Relax.
Montgomery.
Like,
40
Yeah,
minutes.
music class, man.
40 minutes.
At
you
least
mad you don't know the whole
Oh,
notes to the half
Nigga
notes.
was
Like,
bald as hell, had some funny ass glasses.
Y'all
I was
are
like, this was
off-key.
an interesting
Bro,
guy.
at least
man.
y'all have music class, man. I don't know.
Fair.
Niggas sound
Y'all
True.
didn't
ungrateful
bring
to
back
me.
y'all
But I also had a
recorder.
high school
Niggas sound
teacher.
extra ungrateful to me, man.
And I found out
don't
about
know.
this in college. We found out it was on the news and everything. My high school teacher, I actually fucked him. Shout out Mr. Gabriel. He was a cool dude. Taught
Mr.
history.
Gabriel.
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 Mr. Gabriel. But
Gabriel.
he lied about being in the army. So he talked about how he had like a Purple Heart and all these things. Like, yo, when I was in Iraq, and we always used to just sit there like, oh,
He was
these
in
are some
too
interesting
deep.
stories.
He probably
you feel
said
me?
that mad long ago.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
too
exactly.
late.
He
He
had
was
to
in
keep
too
running
deep.
with
He
it.
couldn't let it
It's
go.
crazy how the story even came out. So boom, right? I'm in college one day. I think freshman year. No, it is freshman year. I remember exactly where I was when I found the news. And somebody sent me a link to like Fox 25 News, breaking news, whatever. And it was on the news how his wife, who he was cheating on,
Whoa.
with the English teacher at our school,
She broke the news.
she broke the news talking about like, oh, my husband is a liar.
A woman's
He
school.
never served in the army and like he's in high school.
oh, he didn't just
Teaching
lie to
this
y'all.
shit.
He was lying to
He lied
everybody.
yeah, you feel me? And the wife was in on it. She knew.
Real nigga.
And I guess she just told because he cheated on
That's
her. Which,
horrible.
He
in that
fucked
sense, it's
up.
like, that's
He almost
fucked
had
up.
it.
Yo,
That's fucked up.
This is
He
how we
almost
gonna.
had it.
This is how we gonna rap,
But,
right? Speaking of, I'm
what?
sorry. Nah, you saying his wife cheated on him and she made him do that?
He
Other
cheated
way
on the
around, other
wife.
way
He
around.
cheated on the
Yeah,
wife.
okay,
he
right?
cheated on the wife.
Did y'all see
And got
that?
pregnant.
Did y'all see that like video of the girl, like the woman getting cheated on, and she dumped the man's ashes into a lake, bro?
No.
That's
Yeah.
what the story behind?
It was
No.
a skit.
That's not
It
OD.
was a
What
skit.
happened?
As a skit?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
It
Nah,
was a
then we're
skit.
not gonna address
But
it because it's not real.
There was a real story that actually where that took place. and
Wait,
that's
can you
what she
tell
was
me what
reenacting.
happened? I don't know what he's talking about.
So basically, this they got into like argument. I don't know if he like cheated on the girl or whatever, but like she was frustrated, so she took his mom's ashes, like his mom's urn, and like dumped it in the river.
That's
What?
fucked.
Yeah. And I think she was like charged.
Like,
I
what
think
did
the reason
my
why
mother do?
I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
right. I think the story came out because like that's against the law. Like that's like defamation of a corpse. So there was like a lawsuit that was, or like a trial that was gonna take place. But I think she got arrested.
I
for it.
seen someone say like,
Crazy.
"Yo, you do that to me, you gonna be apologizing to my mom personally."
That's a fool. I seen the Chris Benoit memes came up.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Someone they don't have to say anything. Just put his like Titantron and theme.
Oh,
It's like
oh no.
what is how does the theme go?
Oh no. Hey,
They're still together now, actually, by the way. They're still together now. The woman that he cheated with, they have 2 kids now. Still together.
Real nigga.
hey, man.
Wow.
She tattooed.
He's not a real nigga because he did that. He's a real nigga because now he can maybe start a new lie. How do you know that's not a lie?
Which part?
That he's together with his wife still.
Oh no, like people show me like Facebook posts and all that. Like
Could
they're
be a
in.
lie.
I mean,
Oh,
He was in
wow.
before.
the
He was
child. So
talking.
you trying to tell me the child's fake? It's a real
No.
It
child.
might be a real child, but a fake relationship. He could be lying, bro. I don't know, bro. He was a good, he's clearly a good liar. He got all, it was like probably like 15, 20 years.
I got shot right here.
He was showing you- he showed you his
They used to
scar?
make a big deal about it too, like on like certain holidays, like where it's like you know
Veterans
commemorate
Day,
veterans and all
Memorial
that.
Day.
They'll make him like
He's like,
give
I
a
could have
speech to
been
the whole
me. I
fucking
had a Purple
school.
Heart.
And
that's
we're like,
They
different.
made
Damn,
him give
yo.
a speech.
I fuck with that
damn,
dude.
yo, I
fuck
like I
with
said,
him.
shout out
I
him.
think he
fuck
started to
Oh my
believe the lie. He
God.
probably got
He
to
was
a
a
point
cool
where
dude.
he
Delusional.
like
I
just
fucked with him. I learned a lot from that dude.
they need to like
He's one of those
psychoanalyze
teachers
him.
too. He's one of those teachers too. He gave me the room,
Fuck
like
with
you
him.
said, to like fail at certain things. And like, if I can explain to him why I gave that answer, okay, you get some points back. It's like, yo, I fuck with shit like that.
Yeah,
you give me the
facts. I
chance to really learn rather than
math
just being like,
teachers like
oh,
that.
you're wrong and this is just the automatic. You
Ultimately,
know, like,
that's our fault though.
percussion
Like
to
if
it.
you don't know
Yeah.
how to do something, that's my fault.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
I don't.
Like if
I don't.
if the whole class failed the exam
That's my fault. Like something wasn't taught right, or I didn't check for understanding
Yeah, no
enough.
bullshit.
or that
you know?
exam was just a force.
But that too.
I mean, I never think tests are too hard. Because me personally, I feel like the reason why the tests are set up the way they are is because this is like information that you're gonna need to know. If you can do
Nah,
these,
but
if you can do this as like the hardest thing, then when
I've had
when other things
exams
come around,
like
you can do those
exams
also.
that
You got 2
bullshit.
hours to do this exam, but
Never
there's
had-
like
never had a test
6
that was too
different
hard.
parts to it that take an hour. It's a
But is
force.
that like okay? So maybe we're saying different things. I'm saying I don't think a test is ever too hard. You're saying maybe a test is too extreme as far as like the actual like what like the contents
task.
of the test.
Yeah.
But he's saying like, you know, if you
the
have
content itself? But I'm talking
Okay.
about how often you're seeing the content compared to the amount of time you may have. You know, it might be
I see what you're
unrealistic. But
you gotta be able to hold accountability too.
y'all are not let me try
My
to
fault,
wrap
bro. I was
this-
just gonna say,
wrap
like, this
this
some
up.
exams, I'm like, I should know this answer. I just didn't study.
Facts.
Like this is a
Like,
pretty
there's
fair
one-
question.
I'm like, this exact
like
question
that.
written on the
It's
board.
like,
If I did what I'm supposed to do, I'll know the answer.
It was on the homework every night for 3 weeks. My fault.
Like,
You got me.
She even told you the answer before the
Facts,
test
right?
started.
Right.
It's
It was-
open book. Like,
It was
Have you
written
ever
on
done
the
that
board.
too?
Open books, I think they're harder.
It was
Honestly.
open
Nah,
books
'cause
are
you got-
harder
'cause
because
you're
the way the
looking.
questions are worded.
You're looking for the answers.
I feel like because you have the answers, that's why like the question made me so vague, and it's like, damn, I have to get this correctly right. And it's
The
like,
best part of an open book test is that you don't open the book. Whenever I have an open book test, I like
Don't listen to that.
unless it's
Like,
an English
terrible
exam. I
advice.
never look at my notes.
They just
I did the
Because
best on
way
open books.
smarter
But the
than
reason
us.
the reason why though is because like it's a test, like they're designed for, well, at least the open book test that I had, they're designed so that you'll fail essentially, because you're gonna spend time looking for the answer instead of doing like applying whatever it is that you learn.
yeah,
And so you're not supposed to
that's some
necessarily
fuck
like
shit.
you're not
That's some
necessarily
dickhead teacher
That's what I'm
shit.
saying.
no, but it's true. It's like
That's
you're-
facts.
the students are always smarter than the test. Like,
Exactly.
but
based on what was taught.
but
I see what
if
you're
the
saying, though.
if the test if you can't apply your knowledge to the test, it's not, you're gonna fail it.
Because it's still a test at the end of the day, and I feel like that's always what it is. It's not necessarily like you versus the answers. It's you versus the clock. Can you finish?
I think the
the
problem
time.
was it's the fact that we knew it was open book prior to maybe like a week or 2 weeks
Oh, so
before.
you're just
it's
like, oh, it's gonna be
like,
quick.
oh, whatever. Prices,
That's how they get you.
you know,
It's
some
all part of
professors,
this-
some
I
professors
love
I
it.
had,
I
they'll
love
be
it.
like, oh, 2 days before the exam, you know,
That's
it's
horrible.
open book now. It's like, well, I already got all my notes. It's like, fuck, all right, cool, let's do it.
I love
Feel
that.
me?
I love how like
I
I
see what
love
you're saying.
hearing how people think about it, because I'm just like, yo, everything in life is a test. And if you really think about it,
That's true.
everything in life is a test. Like
Evidently, yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like you're hanging out with your friends. You feel me? Like that's an open book test all the time. Because you've been around these
Oh,
people
man,
all the
he's
But
getting
listen,
deep now, yo.
because you've been around these people all the time. You've had different experiences with them.
Mhm.
You know things that might irritate them. You know things that set them off. You also know things that they enjoy. Things that are like, you know what I mean? All this stuff. But it's like when you're around them, you still have a decision to
I
make.
feel like
You feel
every
me?
day I'm with this nigga, he's trying to test me.
You feel me? But it's like
Maybe. I don't know.
that itself is
Yo,
correlated to the
Yesterday,
actual test.
yo, I'm about to send you a picture of somebody that keyed your car. For what? Why is he
Oh,
saying that?
nah,
Why
that is
is
a
it?
force.
Just to
That is
irritate
a
me.
force.
You
And
feel me?
and that's the
Somebody
thing.
keyed your car?
No one did it. He was just saying it just to say it.
Oh, I'm like,
And that's the
yeah.
thing too. Like it was the same thing yesterday. I was like, "Yo, Yves is a short ass nigga," and then this nigga Dion, he had no idea, and I was just like, "Yo, he's that short, right?" And we just having a conversation. He is short because I knew that I was like, "This is gonna be like, yo," you feel me? But like, he's not even that short. You feel me?
I'm
But it's just like,
you got this nigga like,
and it's just stuff like that. It's like a test to see how like it's like of how strong
Sometimes
the
I like to
relationship
see
is,
that just to see
how
reactions.
things can play out.
Just to see
sick.
reactions.
It's
sometimes.
like a formula.
I
You
got it
just
from
set
my
it up to
pops.
see how
It's
like
a
it
bad
goes.
habit. But hey, if you still watching, make sure you like and subscribe and tune in.
Like and subscribe.
Of course. And please,
But you want us to do outros, right?
Pull up.
It's been another episode for Bad for the Community. Thanks for tuning in.
That's not what I said for you to do.
That's what
but
you wanted niggas to do. You want to do
No.
like
I
a
got
whole
another
outro
idea. I
skit.
got another idea for you. But anyways, yo, if you enjoyed this and you want to see DJ Brandi Chanel in person, spinning the tunes and actually being
Spinning the tune.
actually on her DJ shit,
Yes.
separating the DJs from the aux niggas. All right.
Oh my god.
Make sure you pop out to the morning show June 25th and the night show at Good Life.
Same
And-
day,
and
same
we're going to be
day.
there. We're going to be there to enjoy ourselves and take in all the
Yes.
vibes. It's going to be a good time.
Yep,
Someone's not gonna be there,
Come get
right?
some
'Cause
food. Come
He's gonna be
get.
in- He's
vacation.
gonna be traveling.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He's going to be in Georgia. He's going to be out a couple weeks.
Yeah. But Brandi, do you have any last words you want to give to the community?
Facts.
I don't know. Thanks for having me, guys. I was low key kind of nervous. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but this
That's
is
when
fun.
you come on
Yeah.
here and we
Yeah.
going to find
Happy
a
to
conversation.
hear
And it's always great conversation.
Yes,
always
definitely
great
pop out to the morning show. And if not, tune into IG Live.
Yes, sir. I wish Preston.
I was about to say, like, I had it right. I don't know why you did that.
Hey, man. We out.
Can I press one?
Oh, you want to go? Drop the bombs. We out of here.